Hello everybody, welcome to the United Stand. We're live for 10 o'clock show as usual. We will be talking some transfers, but we've also got the little thing of a Melbourne victory against Manchester United. Watch along this morning for you. So we'll be bringing you the team news as well and running right the way through until about 1 o'clock PM UK time as we are here to do the watch along as well. So hope everybody's doing well. And yeah, I'm excited about this one. A little bit disappointed in a couple of things. Varane injured again. I don't like being right, but I have said this. People are saying Martinez is going to replace Maguire. I think Martinez is playing centre-back with Harry Maguire. I think that's what's going to happen. So, yeah, I don't foresee a lot of games for Rafael Varane. I mean, I just think he's going to be somebody who's going to, unfortunately, end up being injured quite a lot. But we will talk about Martinez in a minute. We'll also talk about the team news. Garner's not playing again today as well. And in the spirit of Garner potentially being a replacement for Matic or Pogba, well, surely you need to see him playing games for that to happen. So yeah, I think that is a bit of an issue, but it also means that again we're just going to see McTominay and Fred in the midfield, and then a couple of youngsters in the midfield, and we know that this is the area that needs the most amount of work, and we're still not doing any work on it. And look, we're playing Melbourne victory. I'm sure McTominay and Fred will put in a good performance, but I watched them last year play against numerous teams and they didn't. We need to work on that midfield. I'm disappointed that Garner's injured. What can you do? I'm disappointed that we've not brought any midfielders in. And, you know, we're probably not going to learn a hell of a lot in relation to that. But we'll talk about the team news as it comes in. It should be coming in any minute. But as you can see on my screen, Lisandro Martinez, I mean, I've got to say, I was just saying this off camera to Drawty as well. I think football needs to change. And I'm going to say this, and I'm going to be blunt about it, because I really do like Fabrizio and I really do like David Ornstein. But we are now living in a world where a transfer cannot be deal done unless Fabrizio Romano or David Ornstein announces it. I went live last night at midnight because the deal was done. I didn't do it for a laugh. I could have been in bed asleep. I went live at midnight last night because the deal was done. I've got people messaging me at 9 o'clock this morning saying, why aren't you going live? Fabrizio says it's a deal done. Check my Twitter at 7:30 last night. I can only tell you what I get told. I got told Sterling was going to Chelsea. Nobody even knew. I got told Ronaldo wasn't playing in the final game of the season. Nobody knew. I got told Darwin Núñez was going to Liverpool. Nobody knew. And I got told last night at 6:30 the deal was done with Lisandro Martinez. I knew the length of contract. I knew the value of it, and I tweeted it. And yet we still have to wait till the next day for Fabrizio to go, here we go. We don't have to wait for that. Laurie Whitwell is a good journalist with The Athletic. He said last night at 11 o'clock, the deal is done. So we went live. I could have done it at 7:30. But I think football's becoming, it's our sport. Football's our sport. We are already in the grip of commercialization with the Glazers. We are now in the grip of a nonsense where you know, deal done doesn't actually mean anything, by the way. Deal done just means you've agreed a fee with the club. You know, he's not done his medical yet. He's not holding the shirt up yet. And we've created this world where deal done has become official only when a certain journalist says it. Bullshit to that. We did the video last night. The deal was done. That's the way it is. And just for people who think, why didn't we go live at 9 o'clock? Because we did it at midnight last night because the deal was done. And I'm not going to wait. And I love Fabrizio. He comes on the channel. I think David Ornstein's a fantastic journalist as well. But sometimes I'm not going to wait. And the rest of the world should not have to wait either, because that deal was done last night. And I don't know why we're waiting for, you know, the ink to dry or whatever, or certain sources to sell certain people. But I'm very excited about Lisandro Martinez. The only update I would add on to that, because I spoke about it all last night and Adam's done a video this morning. The only thing I would add about Lisandro Martinez that is new information is that we are expecting official announcement from the club tomorrow in the new away kit with Christian Eriksen. That is the plan, as far as I've been told this morning, is that Lisandro Martinez will be doing medicals probably this afternoon, and an official announcement tomorrow in the kit, and then off to Australia, which is what we want, really. And hopefully Eriksen as well, because to be honest with you, some people are talking about missing person reports for Eriksen because, nobody, I mean, it was talking about David Ornstein. David Ornstein tweeted 10 days ago that Eriksen had agreed a deal to come to Manchester United. 10 days ago. and we still haven't signed a free transfer. So I don't know what's going on with that. Hi, Mark. Lots of Melbourne victory go for Man United. All Australia's go for Aussie team and a European team, says Xavier Brown. Lots of Melbourne victory go for Man United. All Australians go for an Aussie team and a European team. There you go. So lots of people in Australia support Manchester United, which is good. Thank you very much. The start of the match is going to be 11, which is about an hour away, which gives us some time to talk about the team. It also gives us some time to talk about the latest with Frankie de Jong and a few other bits as well. But I can tell you what Manchester United's team is because it should be out. Here it is. So we've got Heaton in goal, Lindelof and Maguire, Dalot and Shaw, Martial plays, Alanga plays, Sancho plays, and then a midfield two of Fred and McTominay again. Van der Beek on the bench. I wish he'd have mixed that midfield up. I know it's not fair, but I really do not understand why you're putting Heaton in goal. I mean, why is De Gea not playing in this game for a start? So really, he's basically saying to David De Gea, have some time off unless he's carrying an injury. I think David De Gea needs to play as many games as possible, to be honest with you, to get used to this system. But I don't know why is he not mixing up the front lineup? Is Rashford's not going to be playing either? Rashford's not on the bench. So, oh no, Rashford is on the bench. De Gea's not on the bench. Rashford's on the bench. Bay's on the bench. Malacia, Ahmad, Tellez, Palestri, Wan-Bissaka, Van der Beek, Laird, Chong, Hannibal, Fish, Garnacho, Savage, and Iqbal. Doesn't look like Mabry's on the bench either. I really do wish he'd mix up that midfield of McTominay and Fred. I mean, look, I love Eric Ten Hag. He's got his own reasons for doing it, but I can still wish he would change it. We will put the team up for you in a minute, but I just don't understand why. It's on now. I don't understand why we would. So that's your starting lineup. Alanga plays. Rashford's on the bench. So he's put Rashford in the team for the second half. De Gea tweaked his groin in the last match. Mark says Sam. Okay, there we go. That's probably a good reason. And Make, he's only played in the Dutch league. I think people are getting carried away. I'm glad we didn't get him. He who turns down Arsenal does not deserve us. So saying Niassi talking about Lissandro Martinez. Yeah, look, there's absolutely no issue with that team at all, really. Donny van der Beek is not starting. I don't know why we've got Van der Beek in the team. It's McTominay. You'll get people excited, Draughty. Draughty's trolling the chat. Everyone's getting excited. No, Van der Beek is not starting. It is McTominay. But it's a bit like when we were going to go live last night at 9 o'clock for Deal Done, and we realised we better not do that. We don't get everything okay. This is the thing I'm looking forward to the most, match stats. I think match stats with Eric Ten Hag are absolutely huge because we've got a manager that really is about, I'm not massive on stats, but when you've got a manager like Eric Ten Hag, he wants 70% possession. He wants loads of shots, and he wants lots of high passing accuracy. So the stats is always very important. And I don't know much about Melbourne victory, but I would expect us to be beating them quite comfortably. Get De Jong in so we can move on from McFred, says Nate. And hi, Mark, what is your score prediction for this game, says NJ. I mean, it really doesn't matter, does it? I mean, I'll go 4-0 again, but it really doesn't matter. Nani is on the bench for them, says David Jones. Yeah, look, I'm very excited about the Eric Ten Hag era. I'm very excited to be watching this game today because it's a great stadium in Melbourne, and I think there'll be a big crowd there. But I have got concerns that for the second game in a row we're picking McFred, and I don't think that's a problem from Eric Ten Hag. I'm not aiming the problem at him. Eric Ten Hag was not the manager last year, but I think for so many Manchester United fans, McFred is a symbolism of failure. And I know it's only pre-season, and I know we've got nobody else to play there, but continually seeing those two in the midfield really does bother me. Mark, did you see Simon Stone article at United waiting for De Jong for a little bit longer, and if they don't get him, they will get an alternative, says SK United. I'll talk about De Jong in a bit. Maybe Martinez and Eriksen will get announced together tomorrow. Who knows? That's what I've heard, David. And run it back, free Donny. Also, do you or anyone in the chat know when Barca set off the USA, says Joshua Bellwater. I think it's tomorrow. Tomorrow. I think it is. I've just tweeted it there. Quite a good tweet about McFred. Also, Joshua Bauer, to thank you back. Thank you very much for that. Can I just say as well, we're sponsored by Wash and Go on the show today. Always wait a few minutes just to let you know about Wash and Go. We had a really good stream on Friday. Oh God, I'm losing my days here. What day did we play? Was it Tuesday? It was Tuesday. Yeah, we played Tuesday. It's Friday today. So today's show is sponsored by Watchalong. Watchalong. Today's show is... Oh God, I'm going back to bed. This is the trouble when you do 5 streams in one day and you get about 5 hours sleep. Today's Watchalong is supported by Wash and Go. As I'm sure you've seen, are the sponsors of all our United Stand pre-season tour content. This week, Wash and Go have decided to see if the United Stand audience can guess what these Aussie slang words mean. They're all haircut and hair washing related. So here we go. Bocker. Bocker, the definition is rural Australian term for a haircut. So if you are popping down the local hairdressers today in Norway or London or wherever you are, if you walk in and say, get me a bocker, they'll probably get you a bottle of beer or something. I don't know. But it actually means rural Australian term for a haircut. Alabama waterfall. This is quite a good one. An Alabama waterfall in Australian slang is a mullet haircut. So, yeah, there you go. An Alabama waterfall. I don't know. Wet tank. Wet tank. A wet tank is... Sounds like something else, a wet tank, if you don't pronounce it well enough. A wet tank is a shower or bathtub. So well done to everyone who's guessing those Aussie slang. That was on point. Also, Wash and Go have a bit of an offer going on at the moment on their Amazon page. So if you buy a multi-pack of their classic or sport products, and the price of each bottle works out at less than £1 each, which is pretty unbelievable value for money in this time of hard times that some people are going through. So make sure you hit the link in the description and pick yourself up a few bottles of Wash and Go today. That way you can look as amazingly fresh as me. As you know, I do use Wash and Go every morning in the shower. And as you can see, my hair looks fantastic. Yours can too. I can't say that, you know, you're going to get a great haircut like me, but you can have great hair like me if you use Wash and Go. Thanks again to Wash and Go for sponsoring the content, and the links in the chat. There you go. Thank you very much to Wash and Go for that. And we are, of course, talking about Wash and Go because we are at the start of a new start for Manchester United. We want to wash away all the rubbish and refresh ourselves and go again. And that's what pre-season and this Eric Ten Hag era is all about. So let's have a look at some of your super chats. Melbourne Victory are the second most successful team in the Australian League, with them finishing second last season and losing in the semi-finals, says Xavier. But that doesn't tell us anything. Clutching at straws, but maybe Ten Hag starting McFred is telling the board to buy a midfielder. Alan, I've heard that sort of stuff, with all due respect, for years. You know, maybe we're picking this Maguire to show the board that he's rubbish. You know, no, he's picking McFred because he believes they're the two best midfielders he's got, like every other manager does, which tells you a lot about our midfield quality. Solskjaer did it, Rangnick did it, and now Ten Hag is doing it. They ain't good enough, but they're probably the best we've got. And that's just the sad truth, isn't it? I haven't got a problem with him picking McTominay and Fred. He's a new manager, and I want him to do well. My problem with it is I know McFred more than he does because I've watched them every week for the last bloody 3 years, or it feels like 40. They ain't good enough. He might be able to improve them, but they're not going to be good enough, and we've got to buy midfielders. And every time I see McTominay and Fred starting games for United, it does make me feel down because I just think, you know, he's not Harry Potter. He's not going to... You know, not to turn them into magicians. They are limited. Individually, I think there's a case for each player. But the reason we use the term McFred is because as a combination, they just don't work. As individuals, because you'll get people saying, I like Fred, and some people, I like McTominay. Yeah, as individuals, maybe there's potential, but as a collective midfield too, no. I'd love to see Charlie Savage with Fred instead of McTominay, says Wolfie. I don't know why he hasn't done that. That's a good point. And again, it's not criticism, it's critique. There's a difference. And we're playing Melbourne Victory. This ain't opening game of the season. I don't know why he's not mixed it up a bit. I don't know why he didn't play Fred with Iqbal and then, like you say, McTominay with Savage, first half and second half, just to give us a little bit, you know, I don't know. Is he already thinking about the opening game of the season and getting this best 11 working together? I think that's probably what he's doing. Mark, I think we win 3-0 tonight. Hopefully another Sancho masterclass. Keep an eye on Melbourne winger Ben Falami. Good young Aussie talent, says Matt. Hi, Mark. If I had a pair of centre-backs, Maguire and Martinez for next season from today, I want to see Maguire on the right side. Keep an eye, says Rashid. Alabama waterfall sounds like a good position for me and the wife to give a go, says Michael T. It's too early for that. It might not be for you, Michael, but it's a bit too early for that for me, to be honest, to be thinking about you and your wife having an Alabama waterfall, which is a mullet. There you go. Breaking news there. So let's just have a quick chat about some transfer news, because obviously we were live last night ahead of the game with deal done on Lisandro Martinez. Some of you lot woke up this morning to slow sports news there. Slow sports news, deal done. Fabrizio Romano and a few others. Deal done. A 5-year deal, £46 million. Who knew that? We did last night. But let's stop blowing our own trumpet. Lisandro Martinez is a Manchester United player. If you want to wait for the official crap, that's up to you. If you want to be ahead of the game, you were on the stream last night. Well done. Make sure you subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. We're having a really good summer, actually. I don't like to blow our own trumpet, but we are having a really good summer. Darwin Núñez, Raheem Sterling, Ronaldo, getting lots and lots of good information. So make sure you subscribe. The transfer content's been really good. Even if it's not a good window so far, we're still getting quite good information. And Frankie de Jong is one that's causing people a lot of stress. All I can say is I went to bed last night in my Frankie Goes to Manchester t-shirt, and I was very, when I actually did get to bed, I was very happy and smiley because I'm still very confident that we're going to do this deal. I think the contrast in stories around Frankie de Jong are bordering on amateur. How you can have one outlet saying he's told United to stop bothering him, he doesn't want to come, and then you can have another outlet saying he's told Ten Hag he is willing to come. He just wants to sort out the financials with Barcelona. And then you got Barcelona saying, you are sold, mate. You are not coming on the tour. Get out of our club. And then you've got the president saying, well, he's not for sale, really. And then Barcelona in massive financial problems trying to buy the clubs. I've never known such a stupid transfer in my life. It is an absolute mess in relation to what is out there publicly, because everyone wants a different angle on it. And actually, if everyone just told the truth, it'd be boring. And the truth is, this deal would have been done last month if it was a normal deal. Barcelona need to sell. Frankie de Jong wants to come. We've got the money. It would have been done a month ago. It would have took us about 6 weeks to do this deal. We started off in the start of May. It would have been done in the middle of June. Why is it still not done by the middle of July? Because the player doesn't want to come to United. We know that. Barcelona desperately do want to sell, and Man United want to buy. He is owed money by Barcelona, and this is the issue. We can only put the offer on the table, and we've done that a long time ago. We are waiting on Barcelona and Frankie de Jong to resolve this situation where Barcelona are basically saying he's not staying, he's for sale. And he can talk about staying all he likes, but he's for sale. The only danger in this, and I don't even think this is a danger, but the only danger I foresee is not him staying at Barcelona. The only way he doesn't come to United is if somebody else swoops in, whether it's a Chelsea, a PSG, or whatever, Bayern Munich. That's the only thing that is potentially an issue. Staying at Barcelona makes absolutely no sense when Barcelona are the club that forced this deal on everybody. They're forcing it on Frankie, and they forced it on us by contacting us and saying, "Do you want him?" And we went, "Bloody hell! We're in the Europa League. We're crap. Of course we want Frankie de Jong." So you can't blame us for wanting him. Where United will get the blame, and I know a lot of you will blame the club on this, where United would get the blame is many of you from the very start said, why are we going for Frankie de Jong? He's a marquee signing when we need to rebuild the team. And when you look at that midfield today, I want Frankie de Jong, and I'm not going to be a hypocrite on this. But when I look at that team today and I see McFred starting again, I do think, well, there's a problem there, because even if you buy Frankie de Jong, he's only one man. What if he pulls his hamstring? We're playing McFred again. What if he does start? We're playing McTominay or Fred next to him. We need two midfielders. And I've got to say, I will not give this transfer window more than a 7 out of 10, even if we get de Jong, Antony, Lisandro Martinez, Malacia and Eriksen, because two midfielders is what we need. I've been watching this United side for years. I don't rate McTominay and Fred as a pairing. I don't rate them. They're not good enough. One of them is going to start next season with Frankie. Very obvious. Even if we get Frankie, we should have been bringing two midfielders in, and that to me is a failure. So when people say, why are we going for Frankie de Jong? That money could be spent on two midfielders. if United don't get Frankie de Jong, that's going to hit them in the face like a barn door in a windstorm. It will. And also, of course, the fact that they were pictured in Barcelona, Murta and Arnold, that they'll never get over that picture if we don't get Frankie de Jong. And spending this long on a deal to not get a player would be a joke. And also spending this long on a deal when Barcelona want to sell means that if he doesn't come, he really was adamant that he wasn't going to come to United. That makes us look really stupid. And I can't see that happening because I know what's happening in this deal, just like you do. Barcelona desperately want to sell him, so they're not stopping the deal. He's stopping the deal at the moment. And if he stops the deal, what have we been doing for 2 months? Why would you, it's like asking the person of your dreams to marry you and they're just not interested. Leave me alone, you freak. I don't want to marry you. You stink. Like, why would you keep asking? Like, they're never going to want to do it. And that would be the problem. Yeah. Unless they've said yes, like Draughty said. And I think that's what I believe. I actually believe that Frankie de Jong is playing a very clever game where he's saying, I will come to you, but I'm getting my money out of Barcelona. Of course, there is a bit of a risk to that because there might be some United fans that just go, I don't want you. I don't like the fact that you don't want to come. But I think the way football works, opinions will change very quickly. Donny's still on the bench for a pre-season game. The poor guy, I feel for him. Your club is ruining him, in my opinion, says Nathan. Richie, welcome to the Members Club. Hi, Mark. It's my 19th birthday, says Yasin. Happy birthday. And I've been watching the United stance ever since the Mourinho era, and I've loved the progress you and the channel have made. Love the work you do. Keep it up, says Yasin. Thank you very much for your support, Yasin. The Roofing Repair Guys says, back to McFred. Maybe he's just waiting for his new CDM, Martinez, to arrive. Jokes aside, 20 million Lema is a cheap alternative, sat waiting for a move. The thing is, though, prediction, Bridge, we'll probably see a really good performance from McTominay and Fred today. And then everyone will say, oh, they're good enough. And I will go, where have you been for 3 years? Because this is a pre-season game against Melbourne Victory. This is not reality. This is not... I've seen Southampton's midfield make them look stupid. I've seen Norwich's midfield make them look stupid. So they ain't good enough. McTominay's ahead of Donny and Varane is going to be dropped for Martinez instead of Maguire. Here we go again, says Audi. Varane's injured at the moment. Nick P says the problem every new manager has is they immediately get told what a wonderful future McTominay has. That will carry on well into his 30s, says Nick P. De Jong really doesn't want to come, then we should just drop the deal. It's pointless, says we. Yeah, look, I do understand that, and I do understand where people are coming from. Will Eriksen happen today, mate? Says Everything Man United. Look, Eriksen could happen anytime in 2022, but I think it will happen tomorrow. I think it makes sense that it will happen tomorrow for the new kit, but there's nothing been signed with Eriksen yet. That's the problem. There's nothing's been signed with him, so I don't know when it's going to happen with Eriksen, and I don't think anybody knows what's going to happen with Eriksen. So apparently Nani is on the bench for Melbourne Victory, so he'll probably play in the second half, won't he? I think that's what's going on there. We've got some quotes from Erik ten Hag here. I'm just going to read them out. So Erik ten Hag is saying this. Oh, God, I'm sure I saw a quote from Erik ten Hag and now I can't see it. I'm sure I just saw Erik ten Hag making a quote. Erik ten Hag, Liverpool is, of course, a name. It's a rival and players are highly motivated, but this is a different number. The opponent will be different. Breaking news there from Erik. Thank you. That was well worth looking for. What am I expecting from the game today? To be honest, this is the game where, out of all our pre-season games, I'm really expecting to see Manchester United dominate possession. I think against Liverpool, we struggled to do that. I'd be really concerned today if we don't have possession of around 70%, because that's what Erik ten Hag, Ajax are all about. 70% possession, double-figure shots, dominating the play, high pass accuracy, high intensity, high proactivity. I think we'll create a lot of chances today. We could get a very high score as well, and that's what I'm looking for. Not overly excited for the new season, but happy to have the therapy stand. Keep up the great work, says Tom. And saw Liverpool were in for Anthony. Any truth in it, says Ivan Whelan. I don't think there is any truth in that, if I'm absolutely honest. I don't think there is any truth in Liverpool being in for Anthony. But what I would say, and I didn't get to say this last night, what I would say about Anthony is that if United decide that they don't want Manchester, if the Manchester, hey, we've got more people watching than the Man United YouTube account. There you go. They've got 12k. We've got over 20. Sit down. But no, I'm only joking. Fair play to them for trying. But the reality is, when I look at Anthony, Man United really want him. Erik ten Hag really wants him. And Anthony really wants to come to Manchester United. If we decide, and this is life, this is a life lesson here. If you walk into a shop, right, and on the, on the shelf, there's a 4-pack of, I don't know, beer or Coke or whatever you want, and you go, I really want it, but I don't really want to pay that price for it, but I do really want it. And then someone else walks in and buys it. You can't moan because you decided not to buy it. And I think that if we don't get Anthony, it will be, what I'm trying to say is, if we don't get Anthony, it will be because of us, not because of him wanting to go to Liverpool. Anthony wants to come to Manchester United. He wants to play with Erik ten Hag, and that's what he wants to do. If we decide not to go for Anthony this summer, and then somebody like a Chelsea or a Liverpool come in and buy him, we can't complain. Now, Zane's probably in the chat. The harsh reality for Zane is that Rafinha didn't want to go in the end. And the harsh reality for Zane and Arsenal fans is Lisandro Martinez didn't want to go in the end. That's the truth. Anthony does want to sign for United. It's whether United go and do the deal. Any news on Lema, like in general, on his next move? I think he'll end up at Bayern Munich, Jay, even though Leipzig don't want to sell him there. Hi, Mark. Why do I feel like Ronaldo will still come to Chelsea, but Glazers are trying to delay it so there wouldn't be time to get a replacement for him, says Pundit. Ronaldo's more depressing than McFred. Ronaldo really does depress me. I don't know what's happening with that. I thought we would have had a little bit of confirmation on that by now, but it is just dragging. The one thing I would say, Tom Mulligan, welcome to Members Club. Thanks everyone who joins the Members Club, by the way. Legends, you get a little badge next to your name and some exclusive content. Mark, don't you think there's a... Pardon? Okay. Mark, don't you think... Mark, how long is it? Okay. What's it about? All right. Mark, don't you think there's a big difference between De Jong wants to stay at Barca and De Jong wanting to come to United? He's not going to retire if Barca sell him, right? Says Sharath Kamath Fitness. Exactly. Also, Ross, thank you very much for the super chat. Hi, Mark. Do you think there'll be any more ins after De Jong and Eriksen? Do you think they are delaying the transfer so they run out of time? Says Anthony. Good point. And if you don't sign anyone and keep that midfield, the style of football won't change because Scott can't press and Donny is hardly a Man United player at this point. I say, screw it. Liverpool sign him, says Nathan. I will just say, we've got Adam who's at the stadium, so we're going to go to him in a minute. But before we do that, I just want to just say two things. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. We're only about 20 subscribers away from the 384,000. So bottom right-hand corner to subscribe, get involved. We're live every night at 8 o'clock, every morning at 10 a.m. John Stewart has just gifted 5 memberships. You're a legend, John. Hi, Mark. Thoughts on James Garner again? He's injured, LA. It's disappointing, but he's injured. Erik ten Hag's comments interesting about not wanting to just attack down the left and being predictable, so he knows that both sides need addressing. There's a lot of work that needs doing, Clarkey. Thank you very much for your chat there. But just to go back to Donny and then Ronaldo, and then we'll get Adam's thoughts from the stadium. In relation to Donny, I have said this. I'm not convinced that Donny van der Beek's going to work at United. I have said if he can't make it with Ten Hag, he's not going to make it with anyone. But there's clearly a problem with Donny van der Beek in the sense that Erik ten Hag doesn't want to play him in a midfield too, because I think Donny van der Beek is better than McTominay, but he doesn't want to play him there. So, end of story. If Donny van der Beek is an attacking midfielder, I'm not going to swear, he's screwed. He's finished at United, Donny van der Beek, because he is not going to get Bruno or Eriksen out of the team. Bruno's big competition is Eriksen. Donny's not going to get Bruno or Eriksen out of the team from what I've seen. So, I think right here, right now, Donny is looking like being out of United in January. That's what I'm predicting at the moment. It's very early to say that, and you can change your opinions. Of course you can. Opinions can change from day to day. But I just don't see where he's going to fit into this team. I expected, wrongly, that on this tour we would have seen Donny playing in a midfield too, because that's where there's a space in the team. We're weak in that area. We saw it on Tuesday. Savage and Iqbal had to play in the midfield in the second half. We've got no depth. It's McTominay and Fred, and it's McTominay and Fred, and it's McTominay and Fred, and it's McTominay and Fred. We've got nobody else, and he won't put Donny there. Donny will play as a 10 when he comes on in the second half where Bruno's playing. So I don't see where Donny's going to get any game time, to be honest with you. We'll have to wait and see. I hope he does. And as I said, it's Frank Sinatra time, isn't it? If he can't make it here, he can't make it anywhere because we've got Erik ten Hag. On Ronaldo, what are we doing with Ronaldo? Well, I think the Ronaldo situation can be explained by any situation. As happy as we are that Lisandro Martinez is a done deal, it's still taken bloody ages to get it done. De Jong's taken ages. Eriksen's taken ages. Everything we do takes ages. This Ronaldo thing ain't getting resolved anytime soon, is it? And this is the problem with United. You can buy the players, but efficiency is very important. Look at Spurs. I think they're just about to announce their 5th signing of the summer, Jed Spence. They're leaving players at home and not taking them on tour because Conte's just saying, I don't want them. Like, we won't leave people at home. Oh, that might affect their value. What, their value that no one wants to pay anyway? Like, we are so slow. We are so slow at doing deals. Therefore, on De Jong, he's never coming on this tour. Lisandro Martinez and Eriksen, there's a chance we'll get him on the tour for a week. De Jong's not going to be on the tour. If you're in Perth and you're thinking that De Jong might be there for the Villa game, forget it. He is not going to be on this tour. We may not even have him for the start of the season. So with Ronaldo, I don't know when Ronaldo's back. Ronaldo's not going to go on tour either, is he? So I don't know. The honest answer is I don't know. Ten Hag constantly references only trained for a number of days. Do you think the team selection is entirely free from club influence at the moment? Says Ross Carroll. Yeah, I mean, I absolutely am convinced. Johnny, welcome to the Members Club, that this team is being picked by Erik ten Hag. Donny will start in our midfield at Liverpool, and our midfield is better than yours. So if he doesn't start for you, there's definitely personal issues, says Nathan. You say it's McTominay and Fred, but sometimes it's Fred and McTominay, says Joe. You can mix the words up however you like. It doesn't make a massive difference to me. Right, let's have a quick chat with Adam. He's out in the stadium in Melbourne, and let's see what he's got to say.
Inside the press box in the MCG now, as you can see just out the back there, stadium starting to fill up. Team news is in. We've just seen the team walk out on the pitch to have a look around. The official team news is in now. A few changes. De Gea drops out for Heaton. No real issue there. I think that's just a goalkeeper switch around thing. No concern there. One injured centre-back out for another injured centre-back. Varane, Maguire. Varane must have picked up that knock. We've seen him taking treatment in the game in Bangkok, so I'm guessing that is somewhere along the line. Precautionary again, but Maguire, the captain, comes back in. So looking at that forward line of Martial, I'm guessing down the middle, with Sancho on the right and Elanga on the left, dropping Rashford down to the bench. No issues there, mixing it up and using this opportunity to actually, test out a few of the players in that system that he played in Bangkok. It looks like it's the same setup because we've got the same midfield, which is Fernandes spearheading the three of Fred and McTominay. Either side of it is the 4-3-3. If it drops down into a 4-2-1-3, then we know how that's going to work as well. It'll just be Fred and McTominay dropping in behind Fernandes. Looking forward to game time now. Interesting to see how Elanga links up with Martial, the two Tonys in the front line. So that's probably my key for this and what I'm looking forward to most in this first half, because as we know, it is going to change in the second half as well. But yeah, there's your teams.
There you go. Love that. That's on pitch reporting from Adam there, and yeah, nice to get a little bit of that, isn't it? Nice to get a bit of the atmosphere in the stadium, and yeah, I mean it's a massive stadium there, and the atmosphere will be fantastic. So looking forward to that. What's new, Scooby-Doo? We're going to follow you. You're going to solve that mystery. We see you, Scooby-Doo, says Mr. Pitt. We're coming after you. What's new, Scooby-Doo? Okay. Thank you for that. Member for 29 months. Okay, and we have another super chat from Trey, who says, do you think Donny van der Beek will start deeper once Martinez starts, says Trey? No, I don't. I think that this is... look, it's, you know what? I think we're buying Martinez as a centre-back, and I think we're signing... I think Donny is going to be used as a 10. I just don't see how we're going to use Donny as a 10 because we've got Bruno and Eriksen. So we'll have to wait and see. My personal feeling is, and I don't disagree with Erik ten Hag, I think Erik ten Hag used Donny as almost a false 9-10 at times at Ajax. He was all over the place in a more advanced position. So it didn't surprise me that Ten Hag said that his best position is actually as a 10. But we've got a 10 It's Bruno, and we've bought another one in Eriksen. So I don't see Donny van der Beek. I've not seen Donny van der Beek perform better than Bruno or Eriksen yet. So if I'm having to make a prediction, I don't think he's going to knock either of those two out. Erik ten Hag said he can play deeper, but he prefers him more advanced. I think deeper, he's better than McTominay. I don't know whether he's better than Fred. I will give Fred a bit of credit. I don't know whether Donny van der Beek's better than Fred in that midfield too, but I definitely think he's better than McTominay. You know, I would go as far as to say that I think most championship midfielders are better than McTominay. I don't think McTominay has shown us anything yet other than, I mean, if McTominay wasn't from the youth team and Sir Alex Ferguson, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Michael Carrick, Jose Mourinho, Ralph Rangnick hadn't spoken glowingly about him, where would you get your evidence that he's good? And that's always been my problem. People think it's a dislike of McTominay. I think his interviews are good. I think the way he conducts himself is good. He really cares about the club. I think all those things are fantastic. But tell me why he's a Man United footballer. And all I'll ever get back is, well, why should we listen to you? Sir Alex thinks he's brilliant. Carrick thinks he's brilliant. I'll take their opinion over yours. Yeah, you still haven't answered the question, have you? So you're basically thinking McTominay's good because somebody else thinks he's good. Sir Alex Ferguson bought Jemba. Didn't get everything right. I'm yet to see why McTominay is a Man United player. And that's all. That's always been my stance. It's nothing personal. I just don't think it. But I'll tell you what, I'll always be fair. I know for a fact that Bayern Munich like McTominay. I know that. Don't ask me how I know, but I do. So there's something about him. I've always said that. He's like a Rubik's Cube. I'm rubbish at them. I cannot get them right. And if somebody can unlock it, I mean, I remember speaking to Ben Foster when Watford had played them, and I did his podcast a few months later, and he said, on the bus home, everyone was like, McTominay is so hard to play against. And I was like, he was man of the match in that game. He played in a midfield too with Donny, funnily enough. It was an FA Cup game. McTominay and Donny were the best two players on the pitch. So, you know, he did play well that day. But there's a lot of people who rate him, but he doesn't deliver on the pitch. Like, he scored that goal against Burnley, and you think, kick on last season. And the next game, he's bloody terrible. Varane is going to be a liability again this season. And by the way, everyone sign up to the members club, says Reese. Thank you, Reese, for shouting out the members club there. Yeah. Eric's putting McSauce in the shop window. Not a chance, Keane. And hi, Mark from Hong Kong. Have a rest, mate, for a day when you can. I know we're rubbish at transfers, but any chance of more outgoings? I'm worried, says Dale. It's not just the fact that McTominay plays, it's the way the club are gassing him up to be Roy Keane type player when we all know he's an average player, says Nate. Pep would have loved Donny because he's a good one-touch player, says Shravan. Every time I see Maguire, Lindelof, McTominay, Fred in the lineup, I face palm. We need to fix that middle, says Spirit. And I think Erik ten Hag is aware of that. Thank you, Jack. Mark, how are you 90%? This Frankie's agent saying he's not interested in signing. Mate, this is the same. Right, okay. I'm happy you've asked me this, Andrew. So in relation to the story where Frankie de Jong's agent has apparently told United to stop contacting him because he doesn't want to come, this is the same agent that was at Carrington last week. This is the same agent that's been in constant talks with Manchester United about Frankie de Jong. Like, some of these paper stories are bullshit. It's a long season, Mark. Plenty of chance for Van der Beek to shine. With injuries, keep the faith in Donny. Well, there is 5 subs as well, Mark. So, you know, the future's yet to be written. But I do, if I had, look, there's no point. What people don't understand is when they're clipping one bit and putting it to another clip from 3 or 4 weeks ago, is that I do hours of content. I get asked loads of questions. If I say to you now, I don't think, if you're asking me what I think is going to happen with Donny van der Beek, I think he'll be sold in January. And then in January, he's our best player and top scorer. Everyone will clip that bit and go, you don't know anything. But I've just been asked what I think will happen with Van der Beek. And at the moment, if he's going to be played as a 10, I think he's behind Bruno and Eriksen. And he's not getting a chance in the midfield too. So if I'm predicting what's going to happen, I'd say I don't think it's going to work out for him. But I want it to. He might think Van der Beek can't work with either of McFred, but could work with de Jong. Fergie also said Ali would be best in Premier League. McTominay is the new Jay Lings, says David. Do you think Van der Beek could be a starter in the new season, says Darren? At this moment in time, I don't see it. Mark, I'm from rural Australia and never heard of any of those, says Ruel. Okay. But going back to what we were talking about with, what's his name? Rafael Varane. And we've just had 10 memberships gifted by Derek. You're a legend, Derek. I just don't get how this club never learns on transfers and these long drawn-out sagas. It's impossible De Jong isn't a letdown given all the hype, says Aram. United need to recruit better people. Simple as that. We need to recruit better people in recruitment. But going back to the centre-back situation, again, it's only a prediction. A couple of weeks ago, I said about Martinez, he's not worth 40 million, and I don't think he'll start because I think it will be Varane and Maguire. I actually now think you cannot spend 46 million pounds on a player and have him as a backup. It's just not logical. I do not believe he's worth 46 million pounds, by the way. I don't think enough people are talking about that. I'm really excited about Martinez, and I'm really excited because the chat's excited about him as well. And so many times over the years, many of you have been right about players. So I'm really excited about that. I haven't seen loads of Lisandro Martinez. I'm not going to pretend that I even watched like half of Ajax's games because I didn't. I watched most of their Champions League games. Some of them were highlights, but he looks like a good player. And, you know, whatever you say about Arteta, his recruitment's quite good. So the fact that they were looking at him is quite encouraging. I think Lisandro Martinez is going to hopefully be a good signing for United, but he's not 46 million pounds. We've had our pants pulled down by Ajax. The reason we're paying 46 million quid is because we didn't try and buy him in May. I think if we'd gone for him in May, we might have got him for 35. So we have paid too much for him, but that's not his fault, your fault, or Eric Ten Hag's fault. I actually think our starting centre-back pairing is going to be Martinez and Maguire. And the reason I think this is that if Varane is fit, you don't bench Varane. This is why I thought it would be Maguire and Varane, and maybe Martinez would be a bench player. That's why I initially thought that, because you don't bench Varane and Maguire's the captain. But the more I think about it, we're not going to play a 3 centre-back system because that's Ten Hag's never really done that. We're going to play with 2 centre-backs. And I think Maguire's going to shift to the right and Martinez is going to play to the left because I think Varane is going to be injured a lot. Now, there will be rotation, but I also think Ten Hag likes to stick to a system and reliable players. And I think what will happen is Varane will start missing games and Ten Hag will realise that Maguire never misses games. And what's the point in bringing Varane in for 2 games, then he's injured for 3, and then bringing Maguire back when he can just stick with Maguire? So I think that Varane will find himself out of the team because of injury, and it will be Maguire and Lisandro Martinez. Hi, Mark. Finding it hard to believe that we meant to get Nunez along with our other targets, and now we can't afford Anthony, says Adam. We'll always keep an eye, Adam, on what we spend. Did Maguire sit out the Liverpool game to protect himself from showing Ten Hag how bad he is as a captain and player, and now plays the easier game, says Amir? No, I don't think Harry Maguire would do that. I think that's a bit unfair. I mean, Harry Maguire played against Leicester, didn't he, when he wasn't fit? So, yeah, I don't think that's the case at all. I really don't. Check European lad, says Rishab. I will have a check of that. Okay, let's have a look. What's he got to say? No deal yet between Manchester United and Ajax for Lisandro Martinez. Manchester United is still waiting for the documents to be sent by Ajax. I'm not interested in that. I'm not doing that. I couldn't give a toss about that. I couldn't wipe my arse on that tweet if I tried to. I am not having this. Forget it. No. With all due respect to Mike Verwey, Ajax and European lad, they're all fantastic, but I'm not having this. It's done. It's done. You can talk about signing your contracts and stuff. This is something I said at the start of the video. People don't understand what deal done is. You know when a signing is done officially, it's when Manchester United announce him and the medical's done. People are getting lost in what deal done is. Deal done doesn't even exist. It's been created by people like the United Stand and Fabrizio Romano with Here We Go and David Ornstein with, it's basically what deal done is fee agreed. That's basically it. It's fee agreed between the 2 clubs. I don't care about the signing of the contracts because you're talking about official. You're basically talking about the deal's official. Official deal is when he's had his medical and he's holding up his shirt. Deal done is when you've agreed the fee with Ajax or Dortmund or whatever. We're not handing out certificates of deal done. Deal done is a very loose, vague thing But basically, it's when you've agreed the fee with Ajax. We've done that. It's deal done. I think people are getting locked. You know what? Evolution's a really interesting thing. And I said this to somebody last night. We nearly have a new category now because Fabrizio did a video last night at 9 o'clock, and he basically said, "Here we go, is coming." And I was saying to the lads, we're going to get a new category. We're going to get talks. Here we go, coming. Here we go, official, deal done. And actually, I think people just need to take a chill pill. When we say deal done, we're not saying he's holding up the shirt. We're not saying that the ink's dry on the contract. We're just saying that Ajax and Lisandro Martinez and Manchester United have agreed a fee. And that's where we're at. So anybody who's telling me now the deal's not done, I'm not interested in contracts being sent over or anything, because that's official. That's when it's official. That'll be a completely different thing, and we'll get quotes from Lisandro Martinez. But I tell you what, as United fans, I think we're just getting a little bit fed up now of the intricacies of how slow we are at transfers. Have we agreed a fee? 46 million? Yes. Have we agreed the contract? 5 years? Yes. Have we agreed that Ajax want to sell him? Yes. Are we buying him? Yes. Does the player want to come? Yes. That's deal done. If he fails the medical, or there's an issue with the work permit, that's deal not, that's the deal crashed. But we are now on the road to official. I don't want to hear about whether it's bloody, contract signed or whatever like that. If you think about the worst one that ever went wrong and we benefited from it, David De Gea to Real Madrid was deal done. Fees had been agreed, terms had been agreed. That deal was done. And it's one of the very few transfers in the whole time I've been doing social media, YouTube, whatever you want to call it, that has been deal done and failed because it didn't get to official. And the reason it didn't get to official is because the fax machine broke or whatever. So look, people just chill out. Lisandro Martinez is going to be a United player unless something amazingly wrong happens with a permit or a medical or something. Do you think we'll see Bruno play some matches off the wing, considering Eriksen's joining and Rashford's not hitting his form? Says Marius. I'm very intrigued to see what we're going to do with Christian Eriksen, because I don't believe that Bruno can play where McTominay plays, and I don't believe that Christian Eriksen can play where McTominay plays, because I just don't think they're defensively minded enough. So maybe Sancho plays off the left and Eriksen or Bruno go to the right. I don't know why Rashford's not playing today. He's on the bench, so he probably plays second half. But it'd be interesting to see whether Elanga... I think there's two things to watch out for. Is Elanga playing off the left or the right? And is Sancho playing off the left or right? I'd like to see Sancho off the left, but let's see. And is Lindelof playing left-sided centre-back, or is Maguire playing left-sided centre-back? I think it's ideal that Maguire plays right-sided centre-back because Lisandro Martinez will play left. Mark, by that logic, we have a deal agreed with Barcelona, but the deal still feels so far away. I get that it's a unique situation, though, given Barca, says Aram. No, Aram, you're making up lies. Aram, you're a liar. You're not listening. A deal is done when the player wants to come, you've agreed personal terms, and you've agreed a fee with the club. That's deal done. Tell me at what point we have agreed this deal with Barcelona and Frenkie de Jong, and everything's ready to go. That's deal done. Like, we're not at that point. Frenkie de Jong's personal terms are not a problem, but he hasn't agreed them and signed them because he wants to sort out his severance from Barcelona. There is a massive barrier to hurdle with Frenkie de Jong. We have agreed the fee with Barcelona. Personal terms will not be a problem with Frenkie de Jong. He knows what he's going to get. But there's a part of that sign-off from Barcelona that he isn't signing off on. So we're not at that point yet, unfortunately. But you are right, Aaron. The Frenkie de Jong transfer is one of the weirdest ones I've ever known, because if you think about Sancho or Bruno, Sporting Lisbon and Dortmund don't really want to sell. Bruno and Sancho want to come, and we want them. And the hard bit is negotiating with Sporting and Dortmund. And that's a normal transfer. In this situation, Barcelona desperately want to sell. We want to buy, and then de Jong doesn't want to come. It's weird. It's really weird, because United and Barcelona, they're basically in the hot tub together. They're like, yeah, this is it. We want it to come on, Frankie, get in. And he's like, I don't want to get in. He doesn't. I'm not interested. And that is really weird, because normally it's the player in the buying club, and it's the selling club that's the reluctant one. the selling club in this case is actually the party. You know, they're starting the party. So yeah, it is a bit weird, but it's not a normal transfer. Feel a bit sorry for a lot of Aussie fans. They keep saying they're looking forward to seeing Ronaldo today, looking for some Erik ten Hag style of play, says Tom. Yeah, look, it's worth mentioning that because we will have fans who are going to the games, and we are privileged as Manchester United fans. If you've ever been fortunate enough to watch Ronaldo on this stint, or as I was a few times on his first stint, you're privileged to get to watch Cristiano Ronaldo. And if you are a fan from Thailand or Australia, when will Man United next be back in Australia? Well, Ronaldo never will be. And this was an opportunity to see Ronaldo. And he's not there. So I do feel for some of the fans. I also feel sorry for the fans in relation to De Jong or new signings, because they would have... When you were buying those tickets out in Australia, you would have thought, well, I'm probably going to see a couple of signings and Ronaldo. They're not going to see any of that. So that's the danger of pre-season, of course, but I do feel sorry for them. Hi, Mark, watching from here at the game in the G. Let's go United, says Logan. Thank you very much. You've obviously got better phone reception than we get at Old Trafford. A rest up build-up says, it's like proposing to someone who says yes. You're getting married, but you don't actually have the marriage certificate yet, says rest up build-up. Yeah, good. Good. Okay. What's your score predictions in the chat? And let us know where you are watching from. I'm going to go 4-0. It could be 6. I'm being very disrespectful to Melbourne victory, but I'm also being very honest. I've got no idea of the standard. I've got no idea about Australian football. But I'm sort of putting them at the level of the local pub side. And I think United will probably... Yeah, no. I don't know. Where would you put Melbourne victory? They'd probably get beat by... Would they get beat by a League Two side? Probably. So, I don't know. It's very difficult. And it's a pre-season game. And, you know, they probably... Are they in their off-season? Is their season on at the moment? I know when we play in America, in the MLS, it's normally halfway through their normal season. So they've got fitness levels that are better than ours. I don't know whether this is the off-season. Somebody said they're probably championship level. I don't know about that. They finished second in the league and won a cup. Is it it's pre-season for them as well? They're probably championship level, says Max. I'm not disrespectful to Aussies. I'm actually being respectful because I just don't know. Carl says, European lad drives me crazy. From now on, I hope we buy any player he likes and tweets about. No, I like European lad. I like Mike Verwey. I think they're very, very, very good in relation to Ajax. Yeah, it's the same with Barcelona fans. I don't have any issue with Barcelona fans. I don't have any issue with Ajax fans. At the end of the day, this is a competitive sport. You know, the whole point of supporting your club is that you're loyal to that and you want to believe the best, don't you? It's a little bit different for United fans because we know the truth, but Rashford is being trialled up front in the second half, says Kyle. Okay, yeah, that's actually an interesting, yeah. Good point, Kyle. You've spotted it. Well done. I don't know whether Kyle spotted that himself or he's heard a quote about it, but actually it does make a lot of sense. You can't play Ahmad up front, so yeah, let's try Rashford up front. I don't think Rashford's good enough to play up front, but he's probably good enough to play up front against a team like this, to be fair. Again, I'm being disrespectful to Melbourne, but look, on Rashford, I think he's a winger. I've always said that. Apparently Man United have joined the chase to sign French star Jonathan Klaus for 8 million. He's a right wing back, isn't he? So that's interesting. Let's see if anything comes of that. But on Rashford as a forward, what's everyone's thoughts on Rashford as a forward? Apparently Forest have just bought a new goalkeeper as well. I don't think he'll be taking Dean Henderson's spot, though. Probably a reserve. My issue with Rashford as a forward is I don't think he's very good with his back to goal. I don't think he's very good at holding the ball up. And I don't think he's very good at link-up play. Rashford's a bit like... Rashford reminds me of a Gary Lineker or a Darren Bent sort of striker, where... give them a chance in the box, they'll score. They're very mobile, but they're not really a modern striker that can link up the play. And he would have to work very, very hard on that. He's a different type of striker. I remember us going to Anfield, might have been last year or the year before, where we knew they were going to dominate and we put Rashford through the middle. And I thought it was a good idea because hit the long ball, Rashford's very quick. There's no problem. I've got no problem with playing Rashford in certain circumstances up front, but I don't think he's a striker. The MCG always holds the AFL Grand Final. Would you ever watch it next year, says Anthony? Probably not. Woke up at 3:30 a.m. to watch at 5 a.m. here in Texas. Ready to support my team, says RWR. David Ornstein, aren't you a fella who called Martinez a hipster signing? Just pretending for that bag, says David Ornstein. Yeah, it's not David Ornstein, is it? Yeah, there was something I was going to say that was relevant. That's nothing to do with that chat. Yeah, I think that Rashford as the backup striker ultimately is not what I would like to see. But you know, we'll have to wait and see what happens with it because I think he probably is going to play in the second half. Yeah. Sorry, you probably heard that. My stream was not working. You have 30% of a player with Rashford up front, says Matt Carroll. Just going back to that previous super chat. I know, you know, I absolutely love it when people clip up my videos from 2 weeks ago and then add it to something from 2 weeks today, because you know what I love about it is that they think they're slagging me off. And what it actually does is just give me more exposure for free. When I see these little clips getting 30,000 views and then people going, oh, Goldbridge is a flip-flop and this, I think, but that's free. That's free advertising. 30,000 people have watched that. And I haven't even had to pay you to edit it. So I love it. Keep doing it, you know, because I guarantee in the last hour, I've probably said something for a few seconds that you can take something else from a few seconds and make it sound like I'm contradicting myself. So please keep doing it because I absolutely love the free exposure that it gives to the community that we've got. So it's fantastic. But I've already explained that. Like in relation to Lisandro Martinez, I do think he's a hipster signing, but people don't understand what that means. And what I mean is that I think that Arsenal fans were making videos about him at that point. United fans were going, oh, what a great player he is. And what I was saying is that I don't think he's worth 46 million quid. I don't think any player in the Eredivisie is worth 46 million pounds as a centre-back. And I did feel at that time that I think Varane and Maguire would be our starting centre-backs no matter what. But you know what? An initial reaction is not the same as a thought-out reaction. And over the last couple of weeks, I'm just not convinced Varane's going to be fit much. And I think he will move Maguire to right-hand side and Lisandro Martinez will walk in. And logically, you can't spend, you know, when I think about it in depth, you cannot spend 46 million pounds on a player and not start them. He's got to start. And I think I think in a funny way, I mean, it'd have to, you know, how do you increase your value at 24 from 46 million? Very, very difficult to do. I don't think we'll end up ever selling Lisandro Martinez. I don't think even if he plays really well, we'll end up selling him. I mean, maybe a Real Madrid will come in 3 years and give us 70 million. I don't want that to happen. But we have paid too much for him. But as I said last night, when you think about it, I always wanted Timber. Look, I'll be honest, I'm disappointed we didn't get Timber because that's the player that Ten Hag wanted. But when you think about it and you look, I mean, look, I did that video last week about Martinez comparing him to Maguire and Varane. When you really start looking into Lisandro Martinez, which I'll be honest, I hadn't. I knew who he was. I'd seen a few games, but I didn't really deep dive into what he was all about. When you deep dive into what Lisandro Martinez is all about, as I said last night when we did the reaction to it, the deal being done, the positive thing about Lisandro Martinez is when you research him, is that I don't know why Ten Hag didn't go for him over Timber. I really don't know why, because Timber's right-footed, younger, and not a leader. Lisandro Martinez is a very vocal leader. He's left-footed, and he's 24. So he's a player. We need a left-sided centre-back. We don't need a right-sided centre-back. So what was the plan with Timber? Was Timber going to be brought into United and nurtured for the future, and he was going to go with Maguire and Varane? And has he now not got Timber and gone, get me Martinez, I'm actually going to play him? We'll never know. But Timber's right-footed. And maybe he was going to use Timber in the position that Martinez is going to play. But I've got to be honest, as much as I like Timber, and we know that Ten Hag wanted Timber, the more you look at it, the more... It's very rare when you miss out on a first target that the second target is arguably better than the first target. Like, we want Darwin Núñez. We didn't get Darwin Núñez. If we went and bought Jonathan David, that's a step down in many people's eyes. It might not be, but it looks like a step down. I don't see Martinez as a step down on Timber. I don't know what everybody else thinks. And I'm just excited to see what's going to happen with him, really. But that's for the future. This is for the now. We're 4 minutes away from the start of this game. Hi, Mark. Enjoy Martinez. He will be missed. Our butcher was as solid as a rock, says Thomas. I don't think anybody can wait, really. When was the last time we had a big or good offer for one of our players? Says a lot about the lack of quality since Sir Alex Ferguson, says Les Rui. Well, you're not going to get big offers for players when you've not been in a title race for 10 years. Lissandro's magic. He wears a magic hat, says Mario Franco. Cristiano Ronaldo could play Aussie rules football, says Anthony. Might cause some debate, but I'd go for Ivan Toney as a backup, says Ashley. I find this easier. Speculation, paper talk, interest player wants the move and club makes inquiry. Agreement, fee, wages agreed in principle. Final details being hashed, confirmed, holding the shirt, says AGM. It's a lot, but you're probably right. Right, let's get ready. Please do subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. Harry Maguire leads the team out. Don't get negative. Let's get ready to rumble here. United, second pre-season game. And as we know, the team news is as follows. Heaton is in goal. Don't know whether we ever got an update on De Gea. If anyone's got it, let me know. So Heaton's in goal. Dalot, Maguire, Lindelof and Shaw, McTominay and Fred, Bruno, Sancho, Alanga and Martial is your starting lineup for the game today. Rashford's on the bench. We suspect he may be playing up front in the second half. Donny is on the bench as well, as we've already discussed. Enjoy Martinez. We've done that one. Thank you very much. And thanks everyone who's tuning in. 25,000 people tuning in for Watchalong on a Friday morning between Manchester United and Melbourne Victory. I hope you're all doing well. Please do subscribe to the channel, bottom right-hand corner. I'm just going to check what we're doing on that. Remember, we're sponsored by Wash and Go. Shampoo and conditioner in one, very well priced, sponsoring the show. Links in the chat. You can get yours delivered to the door. I use it every day. Fantastic products. Thank you very much to Wash and Go for sponsoring the show. I don't recognise any of this Melbourne Victory team. I mean, they've got Vidal and Miranda playing at centre back, but I don't think it's the people I think it is. It's not Arturo Vidal for a start. Barnett, brilliant in the midfield, or maybe brilliant. Brimmer. 3 Bs in the midfield. Brimmer, Barnett, and Brilliant. There we go. Ashley says, Mike, I've done that from Ashley. Thank you very much for the super chats. We're only about 500 subscribers away from 385,000. So please click that subscribe button in the bottom right-hand corner. Let's see if we can hit that. We're about to start the match here. I'm going to go with a 4-0 prediction. Don't know what everyone else is going for. Match is about to start. Look, we're playing Melbourne Victory. I expect to see some good performances from Manchester United today. I really do. I think Harry Maguire is going to play left centre-back, not right centre-back. You know what, though? You look at that starting 11, it's still a crap side. The only thing that's positive about it is Erik Ten Hag. If Solskjaer was in charge of this team, you'd be shitting yourself, wouldn't you? It's a very interesting thing on how a manager can change your mindset. Because if this was Solskjaer pre-season and you had a spine of McTominay and Fred, Lindelof and Maguire, Bruno and Martial, you'd be like, we're screwed next season. And we probably would be. So it just another tick in the box for Ten Hag, isn't it? That team is still pretty crap on paper when you think about last year. A lot of them are still there. But the positivity is just purely Ten Hag, isn't it? I mean, I'd only just thought about that. That team is still very crap when you think about last season. There's still a lot of them there. But the positivity is all because of Ten Hag. It's the Ten Hag effect, Chase. It really is about the way he's coached them. So I suppose the thing to take from this game is there's no new signings on that pitch. There's no Ronaldo on that pitch. So player of the year is not there. Second player of the year in De Gea is not there. There's no new signings there. So if we play well in this game, it's completely on the manager, isn't it? John, thank you very much for joining the members club. If Melbourne Victory win this, I'll do a forfeit. But they're counting down the start of this match. 3, 2, 1, kick off. Martial kicks it off. Bit of a misty night and a faraway camera. Not impressed with how far away these cameras are, to be honest. With my eyes, I don't want to put my glasses on, but yeah, it's could be a little bit better. So the match has started there. It's Maguire's playing as the right-sided centre-back. I think that's a very quick early observation. And Sancho's playing off the right as well. So straight away, that is an observation I would say is very important, because quite clearly Maguire is going to play as the right-sided centre-back this season, and therefore Lisandro Martinez will play with Maguire. Yeah, interesting. This is a cricket ground anyway. That's why it's so massive behind. Look at all that grass. It is a cricket ground. It's not full either. Somebody said there were going to be 90,000 people there. There's no way that's full. Maguire's on the right of defence, is Darren. Yeah. Which, whatever you think about Harry Maguire, and a lot of you don't think a lot, he's a better centre-back at right centre-back because he's right-footed. Anyway, let's keep an eye on this. Let's see. I'm watching it. The stadium holds 100 grand, 100k, says Oni. I'm watching it on MUTV. It's not free. There are other ways of watching it. Mark Nanny plays for Melbourne Victory. Yeah, he's on the bench, Joel. He might come on in the second half, apparently. So United just passing the ball about here. And you do have to keep an eye out for that, because that is effectively what we're here for, isn't it? It's about how we move the ball. And I've noticed that Bruno's a lot more careful with the ball this season, even though it's only 2 games in. Lots of passing around the back here. Again, Fred's the one coming to take the ball off the back four, which I find really interesting. McTominay's almost playing as a support striker. And I'm going to take a note of that, because we noticed that in the last game. And is this something that Eric... I love all this. I love tactically analysing a game with you lot. But Fred's the one dropping in between the centre-backs to take the ball. McTominay's just not coming anywhere near it now. And is that basically Eric Ten Hag saying, you can't do that role, so don't do it? McTominay's miles away. It's Fred who's basically playing the deeper role. Nice little flick by Fred there into Bruno's got it now. McTominay's almost playing as a support striker here. Now it's Sancho. Bruno into McTominay. Cross comes in, headed away. It's quite chilly in Melbourne, you know. I saw Adam was wearing a jumper. You know, stereotypically in the UK, we always think it's hot in Australia. I tell you what, it's going to be 35 degrees on Sunday in the UK. 35 degrees, that's unheard of. Nice little ball in behind to Delow. He won't keep it in. And it's gone for a goal kick. He's the Scottish Muller. He is playing in that role. Fred gets pressed and loses possession in that deeper role. I don't think either of them can do it, but I'm enjoying the tactical side of this, because I know, look, there was a lot of people after that Liverpool game who got overly excited. Eric Ten Hag brought us all back down to earth by saying we're not going to overtake that result. Lovely ball in behind Lindelof here. Lovely cross as well. And it's a lovely goal by Melbourne Victory. What a goal. Absolute fantastic goal. Down the right-hand side. Magaluf absolutely owned. Magaluf 1-0 to Melbourne Victory. That is an amazing start, and it's an amazing goal. Magaluf absolutely muddered. Muddered again. Absolutely terrible. So slow. Maguire and Lindelof. I mean, I know it's only a friendly. They both get done. No pace at all. If you're Eric Ten Hag, you are shitting yourself here. Because that high line, I told you, they can't play a high line. They're too slow. Ball in behind Lindelof down the flank. A simple cross, and Maguire's lost his man. They're too slow. They're like a bloody couple of corpses. What are they doing? Well, they're just too slow. They're just too slow. It's not even breaking news. They're too slow. Snail FC at the back, and this was always the problem. Erik ten Hag wants to play a high line. Erik ten Hag wants his centre-backs to push up. And Melbourne Victory, I've figured out straight away how you sort them out. Down the flank. Remember what I've said about Lisandro Martinez and Timber? In the Ajax system, the fullbacks push forward and they cover the flanks. Lindelof's covering the flanks. He's too slow. And then the cross comes in and Maguire's too slow as well. Too slow. They're going to be too slow to play his system. Put Maguire or Lindelof in a back four that's sitting deep, they're fine. Put them in a high line, they're screwed. Look how deep bloody Maguire is now. He's almost holding hands with Heaton. I don't want to go anywhere near the halfway line. Thoughts on Zinchenko to Arsenal? Good business, says Nathan. I think he's a good player. I told you yesterday Man United wouldn't have it all their own way, says Wolfie. And that's it. Man United have no hope. The result is already given away. Melbourne Victory, I predict, says Cop. No, it's early days, but what we're trying to do here is learn about issues in that team. And the issues are the lack of pace at the back in that centre-back pairing. Slow Sports News, Maguire and Lindelof can't play a high line. Oh, good ball in. This should be 1-1. No, Martial can't get there. Bay and Varane need to be our main centre-back with Martinez as a DM. Maguire and Lindelof cannot play this style of football, says Rooney. Says Joshua Bowater. Well, most modern centre-backs can be left. But they're too slow. I mean, that goal it's the sort of goal when I used to play pub football on a Sunday morning, you'd see loads of goals like that. Just have a quick player up front against two slow centre-backs, and it makes it look very simple. You shouldn't ever be conceding a goal like that in high-level football, but you'll get people out there saying that Maguire and Lindelof can play a high line, and they can't. They just can't do it. You're not. I've said this about Maguire and Lindelof before. They're never going to buy. They're never going to find another yard of pace. Erik ten Hag could be a brilliant coach, but they're never going to find another yard of pace. Maguire seems like he doesn't know how to maintain the offside line, says Naveen. It's not his. You know what? I think Maguire's a decent player. He's not an £80 million player, but he's not a modern centre-back. Like, Maguire's better in it. Maguire would be much better at Chelsea or Spurs in a three centre-back system where he can play a little bit deeper with a little bit more cover. He can't play in a centre-back too. When you play for Ajax, you basically it's like what we used to do with Rio and Vidic. You're left on your own as two to defend. It was a lovely finish. I mean, what I also want to just say as well is we're talking about our defence being shaky again. Franco Smith, welcome to the Members Club. But let's not forget, that was a very good goal by Melbourne as well. They took it really well. And the finish was fantastic. I actually thought Heaton was going to save that. I thought we were going to go, bloody hell, it could have been 1-0 down there, and we actually were 1-0 down. Miss Sim, thank you. Welcome to the Members Club. This is good. Shows Erik ten Hag how crap Maguire is, says Andy. Can't believe we paid 80 million for that crap. Leicester must be laughing every time they see him playing, says Marcus. Genuinely convinced that the higher-ups have said all our managers that you have to play Maguire and he's the captain, says Connor. And hey, Mark, what are the expectations for this season, says Brian. Too early to predict that, Brian. Too early to predict that. Thanks, everyone who's tuning in, by the way. Please do subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. Very good goal by Melbourne Victory. They're 1-0 up here after 10 minutes. Bit of a slow, sluggish start by United, to be fair, but plenty of time to go, plenty of changes that can be made. And, this is the easier game of the tour. We've got Palace on Tuesday and Villa after that, who will be on the same sort of trajectory as us. But here's the finish. It's a lovely finish. Took it really well. He did take it well. It was a good finish. It's not been a good start by United, though. I mean, I don't know what the possession stats are. I don't know whether Drawty has looked at that yet. Probably a little bit early. We've only had 10 minutes. But, okay, let's have a look at the possession stats. Because 10 minutes in, you want to be getting control of these games. Like, we've probably had more possession, but you want to be in control, really. So we've had 83% possession, but we've had no shots. And a lot of that possession, to be fair, 98% passing accuracy. I mean, look, to be fair, Ten Hag's probably quite happy about that. But a lot of the possession is around the back four. And there's a lot of long balls being hit to fullbacks as well. Luke Shaw here into Alanga. Now Bruno. Hello. We're definitely pushing McTominay forward a lot. Oh, he's given a goal kick there. Ishak says McTominay doesn't suit the Ten Hag style as he hides too much and is scared to receive the ball and play quick, progressive play. I do think, Ishak, whether people like Fred taking the ball off the back four or not, I think that Ten Hag sticks De Jong in the McTominay position in this team. I don't think he takes out Fred. Luke Shaw trying a shot. Come on. Here we go. Oh. Let's not forget, this is Maguire's first pre-season game. He's got at least 2 miles an hour in the tank to add to his games, as Nick P. It's the porpoising. It's like Mercedes. It's the porpoising. You know, he needs to sort his porpoising out and he'll get a bit more pace. Magaluf and McFred, heaven help us, just give it to Mikey. But you know what? In defence of Eric Ten Hag, who I will defend, look at the team on the screen. And they're on the attack again here. Look at the team on the screen. And it's only Eric Ten Hag that's giving you positive vibes. It's still Magaluf. It's still McFred. You know, there's still a lot of problems with that team. There's no new signings. There's no Ronaldo. You know, he's not a miracle worker. Give him better players. Let's get a proper rebuild going. This is the team with potential. Honestly, scary. On the other hand, thank you, Mark, for hard work and always giving us incredible content. Says Jorge. I just wouldn't overreact. You know, it's a pre-season game. I wouldn't overreact. There's a lot of work to do, as we know. Cross comes in. Forward gets above Maguire and Delo. Bagel FC says Bricktop. McTominay's crap says Terp. Bruno can't keep possession. And I'm just putting it out on Twitter now. Realistically, I look at that starting lineup and it'd be nice to win today, but it's not. This ain't real, is it? This is a false economy. Like, this team is not this is not going to win the league. The whole project for Eric Ten Hag, whether he can achieve it or not, is to try and win the league. He can't win the league with this team. Like, he needs signings. And until we get new signings, we can't really believe that we're going to head anywhere. So it's a false dawn, effectively. We're on tour. He's got what he's got. There are some positives in the relation. I mean, again, I think the press has been good, but it is a false dawn. These players are not good enough, and he needs 4 or 5 players to come into that team. Malacia probably isn't going to take Luke Shaw's place, to be honest with you, straight away. But you would expect, certainly, Lissandro Martinez, Frankie de Jong, if he comes, and Eriksen all to walk straight into this team. And they're 3 players straight down the spine. So, you know, we've got to look at that, haven't we, logically. You can't turn water into wine, and you can't polish a turd. And this team does need new signings. So this Australian team, are they halfway through their season? Because they're a lot more energetic than we are. Or are they pre-season as well? Because I tell you what, I hope that they're halfway through their season, because it would explain a lot as to why they're sharper and faster than we are, because they're playing well. Teams looks like they only play well when competing for silverware, like they did in Bangkok. And we are showing we are back past United again, says Jack. Look, old habits die hard. Loads of back passes. And long balls. It's off season for them, apparently. And the A-League's in pre-season. Well, there's no excuse for that. Thanks everyone who's tuning in, by the way. Well, it's an interesting game. It's far more interesting. I'd rather we were struggling in this game than winning 4-0, to be honest with you, because these false dawns are not what we need. We need reality. And it would be a weird world if United suddenly started playing really well, having seen the season we saw last year. You know, there are issues with some of these players, and there are issues with the way that we play football. And it's better that Erik ten Hag sees them in pre-season than as winning all our pre-season games and then getting smacked up by Brighton or Brentford or Liverpool. So, look, I'd rather we had these problems in games like this than further down the line, because I tell you what the problem Ten Hag's got to do with a lot of these players as well is, and I remember this from Solskjaer's era, that was good, quick interchange play from United there. We don't move the ball quick enough. When we've got the ball, most of the time, everyone takes a touch before they pass. We need to learn to move the ball quicker. Here's the low. That's Bruno. Oh, McTominay. Should have scored. Scooby-Doo. I thought he'd done it. I was ready to say Scooby-Doo. Poor Erik ten Hag. Will he have to learn the hard way by playing Maguire? How many points will he have to drop until he learns just how crap he is? Good cutback by Bruno. And McTominay's a bit unlucky there. He is playing more advanced. This, to me, is where McTominay is better, where he's not having to play so defensive. Got a corner, though. Back to reality, mark up the Arsenal, says Zane. Too many touches from too many players, says James. Bruno with the cross. Keeper catches that. Mark, why don't you want Sancho on the left? Why do you want Sancho on the left so much, says Caleb? Because I want to buy Anthony, really. Yeah, McTominay's definitely playing more advanced. He should have scored there. He was a bit unlucky. I'm really afraid that De Jong simply won't want to leave Barca. Can't he just continue to refuse to leave no matter how much pressure Barca put on, says Barnes. Big 24 hours on De Jong. Obviously, we're doing a watch-along here, but it's a big 24 hours on De Jong because Barcelona are flying out in the next 24 hours to the US. So let's see what happens there. Bad touch by Fred, but Maguire comes in, wins the ball back. Luke Shaw. Erik ten Hag is not a miracle worker, but still he could have used Bailly with a youngster. Anyone would be better than Maguire. He's using the same Ollie team. Well, David, you've just made a point that absolutely did not register with me at all. How can Eric Bailly be man of the match and then not play as part of the first team in this game? Because he's not part of the plans. That's why he needs to leave. He needs to leave for himself. If you're Eric Bailly and you're watching that first goal, you know it doesn't get conceded because you know you're quick. Erik ten Hag wants to play out from the back. Maguire versus Varane, obvious to see why we can't break down teams. He dictates slow passing, long predictable diagonal balls and no recovery pace, says Dylan. The problem with Harry Maguire is that he doesn't suit the way that Ten Hag wants to play football. He's not a modern centre-back, and he basically plays well in a back five. That's why he does well for England. He's not a bad passer in the ball. He's just not mobile. Now McTominay's coming to get deeper into the low. We need to address the lack of set piece goals too, says Gore. Thanks for the super chats, by the way. Thanks everyone who's tuning in. Please subscribe, bottom right hand corner. We'll check what we're doing on that in a minute. Big shout out to Wash and Go for sponsoring the stream. The link's in the chat. Heavy touch there, but Fred just blasts it out for a throw in. Stretch time. Well, I just want to... Jay's messaged me. I knew he would. The busted of a centre-back pairing never, ever fails to underachieve. I've got to say, fair play to Melbourne, because they've actually made it more competitive than I thought it was going to be. I really worried that this game was going to be a bit of a walk in the park, and we don't need a walk in the park. And I know some people will be really annoyed that we're losing 1-0. I couldn't give a toss. It's pre-season. We may end up winning this game anyway. But it's good to be in a situation where we're having to, where you want to be tested in pre-season, and we are being tested. And that to me is a positive. Luke Shaw into Fred. Too many sideways and backward passes here. There's Fred to Bruno. That's the ball. I do think Bruno is nice ball to low. Leave it for Bruno. I do think Bruno's been a lot more careful with his passing. I'd love to know what Bruno's pass completion rate is across these first two games, because I've seen Bruno get the ball a lot more in this game, and I think last season he would have been trying Hollywood crosses and all sorts, but he's actually playing the simple pass a lot more. And if you look at United in the last 5 minutes, this is exactly what Ten Hag wants. We've kept possession around the edge of their box. Last season, someone would have tried a Hollywood pass or a Hollywood shot. We've actually played about 30 passes here. And whatever you think about as being 1-0 down, this is a big improvement. The patience on the ball, the willingness just to keep it. And it'd be nice to see us get a chance off this. Nice little ball to low. And a shot by McTominay again, and it's another corner. But it was good play by United, that was. I know the result doesn't matter, but the performance is ringing alarm bells for me, says McAlvis. That last couple of minutes was actually good from United, because we kept possession and we moved it around. And that's something we would never do. So I enjoyed that. Interesting to see how narrow our forward line is playing at times. Erik ten Hag is forcing a high line and combination play in the final third. It's good coaching, says Brian. That bit there was good from United. That last couple of minutes there was very good. Patience on the ball in the final third. Oh, we're in trouble again here. Oh, no, we have got cover. And Fred puts it out for a throw-in. What a stadium, says Carlo. It's gorgeous. Hi, Mark. Got a United career mode based on your career mode. Genius. Who do I get alongside Frankie de Jong, Renato Sanchez, Neves, Bellingham, or Lema, says James. They're all good choices. I've got Lema on mine, but I just like a player that can sit and play the simple pass. But so we've had 22 minutes. It's still 1-0 to Melbourne. United, you feel, will get back into this game. We're only 20 subscribers away from 385,000. So please click that subscribe button, bottom right-hand corner. Remember, the United Stand is live every night at 8 o'clock. We go live when there's any deals. All the watch-alongs, match reactions, morning show at 10 o'clock. You're all very welcome in the community. Thank you very much for being here. Keep your conversations coming in. I'm intrigued to see what you think. Still think it's taken us a little bit long to get the ball into the final third, but I was happy with the possession stats after the first 10 minutes. So Fred into McTominay, too powerful. Foul by Maguire. Melbourne are defending like they're in the Champions League final. It's funny to watch. This is no different to you under Road, Ranić and Ollie, says Nathan Allen. Who are Liverpool playing on the tour? Someone said Liverpool are playing later on. Not that I'll watch it, but Alanga has been a bit quiet. I was going to say that. I've seen Sancho on the ball a little bit. Liverpool are playing Palace, so good. Are we all playing the same sort of teams then? Are Liverpool going to play Villa as well? Can anybody figure out where the cricket pitch is? says Sumjit. Nice ball here. Bruno, good shot, good save. That was better. I think it was Delo who fed it in. Fred with the foul. Somebody just said, I hope this isn't our team lineup for the start of the season. If we pick this team next season, we're screwed. That's a good save by the keeper. Bruno hit a good shot there. Yeah, good save. Mohammed, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much. United getting up a bit of steam here. Nice ball into Alanga down the left-hand side. He's been a bit quiet, but he's got the ball here on the left. Plays it into Luke Shaw. Leaves it for Bruno. See there, Bruno would normally whip a cross in and we're keeping the ball. High line is a high risk for Lindelof and Shaw. Both missed their man. Nothing to do with Maguire. What? Martin, do you understand the world of football? How can you not put any blame on Harry Maguire? Lindelof loses his man and then Maguire's too slow and loses his man. Like, you know, I don't care whether you're the founding member of his fan club or a family member. The reality is you can criticise your favourites. Like, Martial and Rashford are two of my favourites. They've been crap for the last year. Bruno at the end of last season was crap. Still one of my favourite players. Like, that goal is on Lindelof and Maguire. They're both equally slow. Very clear that the centre-back and midfield pairings are not good enough even at this level, says Adrian Armstrong. Back to reality, says Zane. Good play by Martial. Unlucky. Wants a penalty. Not given. Very high line here. Lindelof. Nice little ball. Keeper's got that. 27 minutes. How badly do you think Man City will slap you up by, says John? I ain't thinking about Man City, mate. I don't think we play Man City for a long time either. Still struggling to break down a low block, says Ash. Well, we've had two chances, really. McTominay's chance, which was deflected for a corner. He had another chance, but it was an eye through the needle chance. And then Bruno's shot. We've, again, the thing that frustrates me about United is that we don't create chances for our number 9. And again, he's offside that time. It's a good job he's offside. Our possession stats are very high, but you'd expect that anyway because we're Manchester United and they're Melbourne. But the score stats are 1-0 and they are playing a system that works against the team that wants to keep high possession, which is compact and hit on the break with pace. See... I'd love to know if somebody knows anything about Melbourne victory. Can you tell us, is this their best 11? Are they going to be really crap in the second half? Have they mixed it up a bit? I know I'm asking a lot, but there might be some people who do know a little bit about Melbourne. It is a graveyard shift up front for United. That's what I was trying to say. You know, you put Ronaldo in this team, Cavani in this team, Lewandowski in this team, Haaland in this team. It's not the player. It's not the individual. We just don't really create a lot for the striker. You do have to work a lot. And a lot of the chances we create happen because we get runners from the midfield created by the movement of the striker. There's a lot of selflessness. I'm a Melbourne supporter. This is almost our best 11. Thank you very much, Peter, there. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, no. Another corner. Delow. Maguire has too much power in the club. If he dropped, we lose the dressing room. If he's picked, we lose the match. What is our manager supposed to do, says Sarvish. Did you hear about Frankie's agent saying he will not join United? Sorry if you've talked about it already, says Ashley. I did, but I just think it's a bad report. Why would De Jong's agent, who's been speaking to United on the regular, suddenly say, stop calling me, we don't want to talk to you? Like, it's just not what's going on. This game brings back to me the Van Gaal era. Need De Jong fast, says Guantan Amela. Oh, they're in again here. Lindelof does well, but they're still in. They're on the attack here. Melbourne having a little bit of respite. Well in by Fred. They've still kept the ball. Still Melbourne on the attack. McTominay intercepts it. Does well. Now Bruno. Need to move that quicker there. They've got everybody back now. There you go. Look, 75% possession, 4 shots to 2, 262 passes to 87, and 93% passing. I mean, if we were winning 3-0, this would be the perfect game for Ten Hag. But having said that, you look at those stats, they are again misleading, because 4 shots to 2, that's not good enough. That shows you that a lot of our possession has just been simple possession. And what I call simple possession is we're having a lot of the ball in areas that they want us to have the ball. We need to get more chances from that possession. Ten Hag has exactly the same look on his face as when we won the Century Cup. Nice to see a manager who doesn't just smile and ignore issues, says Dan Blunt. Thank you very much. There's Fred into Luke Shaw. Martial's having to come deep a lot now. That's always worries me about a striker. And he's good. I mean, to be fair, Martial is good in the link-up play, but that's a shot by Fred. That's always a worrying sign as well when Fred starts shooting with his right foot. I know he scored the other day, but he's not renowned for it, is he? So 33 minutes gone. Goal kick to Melbourne. Tommy on the ball again. Oh, Sancho gives it away. Thanks for the super chat, Riyadh. He says, is Maguire captain because the real captain is not in the squad, or is this really going to be captain again next season, says Riyadh. Well, I don't know. I'm not the manager. I would imagine he will be the captain. Need to speed it up, says Sarah. "34 minutes. Delow and Sancho overlapping play is very good, says Ben Thompson. There is the low. I mean, of course, one of the problems we have at United at the moment is Fred. Oh, good block, goes for a corner. One of the problems we've got at the moment is we don't have anybody to put a cross into the box too, because Martial's not good in the air and neither's Rashford. So as much as people are saying overlaps, like we don't actually have a player in the box now who can get on the end of a cross, whether it's a Ronaldo or a Cavani. We don't really have that type of a striker. Why is Donny van de Beek not given a chance in the midfield too? Says Eddie. Don't know, not the manager. Another corner to United. Maguire over the bar. You can win a header, you just never know where it's going to go. 50p head. Can't direct headers. Dun, 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 dun. Do, do, do. Do, 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 do. Well, still got 10 minutes to go to half time. They're on the break again here. Watch the runners. No, they've messed it up. They've messed it up. We're all right. Cross comes in from Melbourne. It's a good cross. Ooh, well away by Luke Shaw. I tell you what, for a minute there, I thought he was going to have a free header. Very quiet from Alanga. Very quiet game. "36 minutes. Delo much better than Shaw. Shaw is so narrow and don't take overlaps and create widths, as Nicholas. We're definitely better. It's interesting, isn't it? And I think this is why I've said I like Sancho on the left. It doesn't really matter whether Sancho's on the right or the left. We're better on the side that Sancho is. Like, we're not very good down the left today. We're much better down the right. I'm kind of glad Maguire is playing today, as it shows Ten Hag that he struggles to play a high line. I do wonder if there's any improvements in Maguire, says Mister. Thank you very much for your super chat there. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. We're only about 10 away from 385,000. So please subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner to do that. Here's Luke Shaw into Alanga again. And again, he's just knocked to the ground and he has given a free kick. So it'll be a chance to get some of the big lads in the box. Might be our best chance to score, actually. We're struggling to break them down. Maybe a cross into the box, get it on the end of McTominay or Maguire. Might be our best chance. It was a foul, to be fair. It's the second time I've seen in the chat that MUTV's commentary is bigging up McTominay and Maguire. Look, it's a propaganda channel, and I don't even mean I don't mean it in a bad way. That it is. And Fred's shooting again from fucking 30 yards. It's all right putting your hand up, mate. You've tried 3 times now. You're not Rivaldo. You're Fred. Stop bloody shooting. It's a waste of time. Yeah, look, I've got no problems with MUTV. I've got it on audio mute. You're not going to get. You're not going to get one. I don't think their commentators actually really understand football. I've said that many times before. I don't think their understanding of football is that good. I think they're journalists, not football commentators, and they're on the payroll of the club. You know, why would you? It's like going to a Boris Johnson fan club and then moaning because they're praising him. That's what MUTV is. They're just going to praise everybody because they know all the players on a personal level, and they're not going to say, yeah, maybe he's not good enough for Man United. Foul on McTominay there. Tyler, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you. This is why McFred will never be good enough. Even as CDMs for Man United, you have to be creative in the midfield. They offer nothing and can't shoot, says Martin. Oh, yeah, well, that's we need to at least get 1-1 at half time because we're changing the team at second half. They can't lose to Melbourne Victory. Come on. Fucking hell. Fred's just... Here we go. Martial. He's offside. Bollocks. It's basically bias, Che. I mean, I don't know why people moan about it. it's like going into Tesco and moaning because they're selling you Tesco spaghetti. Like, they're not going to sell you Sainsbury's. Like, it's a brand. Man United TV is a brand. Like, Harry Maguire's the captain of that brand. They're not going to say, God, he's slow. I'm not sure. What a waste of 8. Imagine if the he'd be very popular, but imagine if the MUTV commentator went, £80 million on this guy and the captaincy. What are we trying to sabotage this club? Like, he's never going to say that, is he? He's going to say, good 5-yard pass sideways. Hi, Mark. Would have been great to have you in Australia. What would your approach be in the second half, says RJ? I mean, winning the game is irrelevant. This is what I mean. The Liverpool game was irrelevant as a scoreline. It's about getting styles of play into legs, fitness into legs, preparation. That's what pre-season's all about. If we lose this game, I'm not really that bothered. I mean, obviously, I'd rather we won and we played well, but the second half is a different game. It's a different opposition and it's different players. So you try and win the second half, I suppose. But I would imagine that the Melbourne Victory teams in the second half is not going to be as strong as the first half. So a lot of pre-season games are basically about... it's like two halves, isn't it? Yeah, this is a different game to the second half. So hopefully in the second half we'll play better. But to be honest with you, I would have played Bailly in the back line and we wouldn't have conceded, because that goal was conceded because of a lack of pace. I would have tried Donny in the midfield as well instead of McTominay, because I just don't think McTominay and Fred actually work. But I'll go back to what I said before kickoff. I didn't expect us to be losing 1-0 after 41 minutes, but I'll go back to what I said before kickoff. I look at that team, and if you imagine that, good play by Sancho here. Here's Shaw. Let's wait and see. Into Alanga. Now it's back to Shaw. We can't put a cross in the box as well. I've noticed that. Can't cross. There's no one in the box to whip a cross into. There's McTominay. Bad pass. Wins it back. Shoot, mate. Deflection. Goal. 1-1. McTominay. Scooby-Doo. It's a goal. It's 1-1. Scooby-Doo. Very lucky. Scooby-Doo. Yeah, very, very lucky goal. You'll note the lack of celebration. He basically shoots and it deflects off the... I think it deflects off Martial, doesn't it? No, it deflects off a defender and loops up over the goalkeeper. It's fortuitous. Yeah, it's very fortuitous. I think his shot was going well wide, but they all count. It's 1-1. And what I was going to say is, when you look at that lineup, and if you imagine that Solskjaer was in charge, you'd be terrified of a pre-season game with this team. You'd be like, why have we not bought any players? These players aren't good enough. The only reason we're sat here going, let's be hopeful, is because we're hoping that Eric Ten Hag is going to turn water into wine. We're hoping Ten Hag's going to get the polish on the crap and turn it into prime oak. It's, their only similarity is they're brown. This ain't prime oak. This is a team that really let themselves down last year. We need signings. That team ain't good enough. That spine ain't good enough. That centre-back pairing's not good enough. That midfield two is not good enough. That's the key areas that we need to improve. Now, Lisandro Martinez is going to come in, and hopefully Frankie de Jong's going to come in, but it's not... it's not a surprise, is it? It's not a surprise that we are not overjoyed with that performance, because some of these players will not improve under Eric Ten Hag. Some of them will. Hopefully some of them will. Ali says, honestly, when Shaw gets the ball, it's like time stops. He's so slow in reacting and moving his body, says Ali. And Butterbean says, sell Lindelof and keep Bailly. He says, look. Well, I think if we're going to play this system, you need a centre-back that's fast. And I think Eric Bailly's got to leave for his own career, but I don't really understand why we're playing Lindelof and Maguire when they're both slow and you want to play a high line. I mean, it's all right against Melbourne Victory, but look at how high Maguire and Lindelof are now. They're playing so high. And against a decent side, and I'm not dismissing Melbourne Victory as a bad side, but in the Premier League, if Lindelof and Maguire play this high, they'll get done over. Look how high they are. They will get done over. Sancho into Delo. Comes to Martial. 2-1. Good goal. Tony T. Good goal. We win the half. That's something. Well done. Martial. Good goal, that. Nice link up down the right-hand side, which has been our strong goal. Strong half. And good finish by Martial. Watch it back again. Bruno slips it into Delo. Cut back. Alanga helps it on, and Martial finishes it. We've been very good down the right-hand side today. That has been the positive. And you know what I like about that chance as well? Martial's worked his arse off. He's come deep. He's laid it off. He's controlled the ball. And that's what you want as a striker, where all you're getting is a tap-in. All you're getting is a tap-in. And I think that's what you want as a striker. You don't mind running the channels. You don't mind holding the ball up. You don't mind making the moves for other people. But you want to be on the end of chances like that. If Martial doesn't score that goal, you probably go, oh, whatever. But that's really important to him. And Alanga did well there as well on the little link up. So, look, we win the half 2-1. Positives, we win the half 2-1. Negatives, we need to sign some players. But 2-1 at half time. What are your thoughts on that? Get in the chat. Make sure you subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner as well. And we'll fly straight into that. But it's 2-1 to Manchester United at half-time. Obviously, we're going to expect a lot of changes from both sides. I think it was important that team came off that pitch with that win. I know it doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme of things, but it just keeps the mentality a little bit stronger, doesn't it? And I think that my assessment of that half was that possession-wise, very good. 74%, 11 shots, 405 passes. I think Erik ten Hag would look at that and go, I'm very happy with that. The truth of the matter is, we made it harder than it needed to be. Like, we did make it harder than it needed to be. I look at those stats and I think that should be 4-1. Could it have been 4-1? Not really. Bruno's shot was a good save. McTominay's was a good block. We didn't really justify being 4-1 up. We justified winning the half. I know we left it late, but we did. But it's not really about the result anyway. It's about, are we progressing towards next season? Would we beat a team like that in the Premier League next season? And the honest answer is probably not. Melbourne losing, I'm here all week, says Ash. So on assessment of that half, I don't know why he didn't pick Eric Bailly, because Bailly was man of the match last game. And if you watch that goal back, you've got to analyse every goal that you concede, whether it's pre-season or not. I look at the end of that half, we're trying to win the game. We're trying to win the game. No doubt about it. I can see Maguire and Lindelof halfway up the half of Melbourne Victory. Like, there's so much space behind them. The line we are playing to try and win that game in the last 5 minutes, and I'll applaud it because we did, is ridiculously high. One ball over the top and a half-quick striker, and that's 2-2. Like, you cannot play Maguire and Lindelof in that system. I'm sorry. Like, we should have won that half 2 or 3-0. We ended up winning it 2-1 because the one time they had an opportunity to break, it was the simplest goal in the world. Down the flank, foot race with Lindelof, wins it, crosses it, foot race with Maguire, wins it, puts it in the bottom corner. That was their only chance of the half. They created nothing else, and they scored with their one chance of the half. And teams will do this to us next year. They will hit us on the break, and we will get exploited. I don't know how he's going to fix this. He basically needs Maguire or Lindelof to find 2 yards of pace, because somebody in the chat said it's Lindelof's fault, it's not Maguire's fault. But it's both their fault. They're not fast enough. And we spoke about this last year when we got Erik ten Hag. It was like, well, it's very obvious how Ajax play. They play like that. They play a high line. They play high possession. They play in the opposition half. But they have centre-backs that are happy to be left on their own and quick enough to recover. we've got two centre-backs there that as soon as that ball goes over the top, and it doesn't even have to be a good ball, it just needs to be over the top. It's a foot race. Remember when you used to play football when you were a kid, or Sunday morning football or whatever, and teams just used to hit it on the break and you just have a quick striker? Basically, that's all you're going to need against United next season if we play Maguire and Lindelof. Now, we've bought Lisandro Martinez. That solves one problem, but modern centre-backs today, whether it's John Stones and Laporte, whether it's Van Dijk and Matip, you've got to have two centre-backs that are mobile. We haven't got that. Varane's mobile, but can't rely on Varane. Lisandro Martinez is mobile, but we haven't signed him yet. I don't know why Eric Bailly didn't play, because if Eric Bailly had played, we wouldn't have conceded that goal. He either would have caught the player on the Lindelof side or he would have caught the player on the Maguire side. That first goal is completely about a lack of pace. And it doesn't matter how much we want Maguire and Lindelof to be good, they ain't going to get quick. That is a problem that Ten Hag will know. How he solves that, I don't know. And Jack says, I know it's pre-season, but Maguire is rubbish. I don't think he's rubbish. I'd have this conversation with Jamie Carragher, Gary Neville, or anyone else who wants to defend him. Tell me where he's getting the pace from to stop that goal. How do you know, in fairness to Lindelof and Maguire, how do they stop that goal? Tell me how they stop it. And I think that's the logical thing that people, when you talk about analysing football, they don't want to do it. They don't want to do it. How do they stop that goal going in? Answer me that. If Ollie ever did anything right, it was Sancho. He's top tier. Yeah. Sancho, I think he's going to have a big season. John, welcome to Members Club. Starting with Magaluf and Victor on the left is telling us that Eric Ten Hag is wanting to start Martinez and Maguire with Harry being on the right-hand side. Says Sam, yep. Blink, Bay must just be thinking, what the fuck? The fact he gets dropped for Slabhead is a complete joke. This is why he needs to leave, Blink. I mean, everyone was getting very excited the other day. There's no point. We need to sell Eric Bay. He's not going to get any game time, is he? Hi from Norway, Mark. I think we want to see Varane and Bay together. Play against the low block far better than previous years. The ball was moved much faster and players found good space to receive controlled passes, says Ing. After watching all that in the box play, I can't help but wonder how much more we would have benefited if Ronaldo was in there, says Jack. Well, we just couldn't put a cross in the box, Jack. I wrote that down. We couldn't put crosses into the box. And I'm looking at this goal now. It's completely about pace. 100% about a lack of pace. Watch it. It's the simplest goal in the world. You've just got Maguire and Lindelof. They're just slow. If either of those two centre-backs are quick, we don't concede the goal. They're playing it back now. It's just a lack of pace. For a top team, we have the slowest centre-backs in the top six. Both Maguire and Lindelof are way too slow, says Abhinav. And Harry Maguire is the best player so far. Just kidding, says Shahir. But look, before we move on to the positives, we're talking about the goal that we conceded. Tell me, if you rate Maguire and Lindelof as a pairing, or you rate them individually, they'll only work. Logan, thank you very much. Maguire and Lindelof would only work in a deep line. Exactly. How do they stop that goal going in? The only way they stop that goal going in is by starting off 10 metres further back than they were. And if you start 10 metres back than you were, we don't concede the goal because they don't get done for pace. But if we start 10 metres further back, we can't press. And this is what people who knew Ten Hag's system always said. You can't play Maguire and Lindelof in a Ten Hag system because we'll concede a lot of goals like that. It's just one ball and we're screwed. Because in a Ten Hag system, your fullbacks go forward, your midfielders go forward to press, and your centre-backs get left on their own. And if they're left on their own, there is no Delo or Shaw to save them because they're too far forward. You've got to have mobility. The only way Maguire or Lindelof are going to work in this team is if they find 2 yards of pace or they play deeper. We'll have to wait and see on that. On the positives, even when we were losing 1-0, Bruno impressed me. And I'll tell you why. There was no Hollywood passes. He was methodical and sensible on the ball. He played the simple pass a lot of the time, and he had a reasonably good game. Sancho does that for fun. We actually had really decent possession and patient possession around the edge of their box, and we probed. If you take McTominay out of that team and you put De Jong in it, and ideally you take Fred out of it and you put someone like a Tillemans in it, we would go up another level. If you put Ronaldo in that team, we'll go up another level. If you put Anthony off the wing instead of Elanga and switch him with Sancho, we go up another level. So the fundamentals of how we kept possession and how we pressed were still good. We need to have more strings to our bow, i.e. we need better quality players in a couple of positions. And we also need a striker where you can put a cross in the box, because Melbourne Victory may be a limited side, but they they do have defenders that can deal with the cross. And I noted it down. We just can't put the cross into the box high in the air because we haven't really got anyone to get on the end of it. I suggest Man United withdraw from Frankie de Jong. They're going to bankrupt soon and sign de Jong for free, says Nabita. Martinez has told his teammates goodbye and is on his way to England to do his medical, says Matthias. Like Fred and McTominay, Lindelof and Maguire are good individually, but together they don't work, says Alan Kenny. I would argue that some of those players aren't even good individually. He's not a good captain. He can't head the ball in the direction, can't tackle, can't defend, slows the game down, can't run. What makes you say he isn't rubbish, says Sarvesh. Just trying to be positive. Maguire transfer fee cost more than Melbourne Victory's existence for 20 years. A slab of something is worth more than Maguire, says Riley. Well, you know what though? Can I just be honest? I know Maguire's not popular because he's the captain and he cost 80 million, and I suppose they are reasons, but Lindelof is just as culpable. Like, let's not pretend Lindelof had a better half or wasn't as at fault for the goal. It's actually it's a style of football thing. It really is a matter of, and people might not like it, but if you're going to play like that, you need centre-backs that are quick. Doesn't matter how good your slow centre-back is, you need a centre-back that's quick. It's as simple as that. We don't even need to name names. Eric Bailly and Varane wouldn't have conceded that goal. Eric Bailly and Varane might not win as many headers from corners, but it's not like he's directing them in the back of the net anyway. So if you're going to play like that, you need mobile centre-backs. Mark, here live at the MCG from New Zealand. Maguire is worse in real life. Didn't think that was possible. Sancho's the only player showing anything off the ball. Same old United. Lissandro Lindelof equals Lissandrov, says MRR. And don't need de Jong. We've got Scott, who is in the top 3 midfielders in the league, says Scotty Mack. Well, he got a goal. I mean, let's talk about the goals. McTominay actually played a lot more advanced. I wouldn't say he had a good half, but he had a better half than he did against Liverpool because Fred was the player taking the ball off the back four. Now, the interesting thing about McTominay is that I've said this and many other people have said this. He's just not a CDM. He's crap at it. The only thing he's ever been decent at is scoring goals and getting forward. And in that half, he had 3 shots and he scored a goal. So he was actually better than he's played in a long time. And he played further forward. So, I wouldn't say he played well. I think that's a big stretch, but he certainly wasn't as bad as he was against Liverpool, where he's just hiding and not wanting the ball. Fred was the one coming deep to get the ball, and McTominay actually played further forward. So that was a positive. The negative is that Fred's no good as the deep line midfielder. I mean, he was trying to shoot from 30 yards. His passing range ain't good enough. He's just not good enough to take that ball off the back four. I really do think we need 2 midfielders. I know that's not breaking news, but we need somebody we need somebody who can do both those roles better. Neither of those players are bad as a bench option, but as starting players, they're not good enough. Look, this is pre-season. He's putting them together to see if they can play his system, says Summer. We need Alexis Sanchez from Inter, says Andreas. Enjoyed seeing Fred into the back line to take the ball and make 3 while the fullbacks push, but putting a better player in the system works. Yeah, exactly. I agree with that, Diego. If Ten Hag's system is all about pace, how does Daily Blend work in it? Ten Hag's system while you make a good point, but also you make a bad point because you're being too simplistic. Daily Blind is a very, very intelligent footballer. Daily Blind, I remember when we had Daily Blind at United, he used to play left back against quick wingers and he'd have good games. Daily Blind, if he had another yard of pace, would have been one of the world's best players defensively. His positional sense and his passing ability are world class. You're right. Daily Blind's issue has always been a lack of pace, but he reads the game so well that he can play left back, left centre back and almost not be exposed because of it. And also, Daily Blind didn't always play centre-back. If Lisandro Martinez and Tim were fit, he played those 2 as first choice. So Daily Blind was third choice centre-back and played left-back a lot. In a foot race, I think Daily Blind would probably beat Maguire anyway, but his ability to read the game is just excellent. We had Daily Blind saying if he had 1 more yard of pace, he'd be world class. So Daily Blind, comparable to Lindelof and Maguire, is on a different level in relation to his ability to read the game and play the game of football. So you can't just say Blind is slow and works in an Ajax system, because you're completely disrespecting Daley Blind's ability to read the game. I've seen Daley Blind play at left back against speedsters and do okay. I mean, could you put Lindelof at right back? We saw what happened against Atletico Madrid. Could you put Maguire at right back? They'd get annihilated. So different players. But hopefully I see better United in Perth next week. Watch a bit of A-League, and Victory's defence is never this solid. We've caught them on a good day. Sancho's the only one showing something, says UCAT. Fair play to Melbourne. You know, they've that first half, they've given us more of a game than I expected. And that's all you want in pre-season. It is only pre-season, but you want to be tested. We weren't cruising in that game. We had to work. Nothing's coming from the left. Sure, he's not good enough to build up the play. I think we're intentionally not putting crosses in. Players are much closer to each other, meant more short, intricate passes, says George. Credit to you, Mark. Your De Jong news is front page of ESPN.com this morning, says Mike B. What news? Mark Samways, welcome to the Members Club. Blank never had pace and he was unreal, says Alan Kenny. Yeah, there are players out there that aren't quick who can read the game really well. I don't think neither Lindelof or Maguire read the game well enough to compensate for lack of pace. But, you know, maybe they can learn. Maybe they can. We're always lopsided. Fred plays too deep and McTominay wanders forward, right-sided. Shaw, therefore, has to play the ball backwards. I don't think Luke Shaw and Elanga have worked that well. Please do subscribe, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner. We're closing on 386,000. We're only 200 away. So bottom right-hand corner to subscribe. United Stand live every night at 8 o'clock, every morning at 10 o'clock. All the watch-alongs, all the chat, all the community. Get involved with that. So I think there's a really interesting point about, we're going to see who's going to play second half now. There seems to be a few Melbourne Victory players that are coming out for the second half. They don't seem to have made many subs. Maybe we've got a fan in the chat who can let us know. Mott says we're always lopsided. I think we've been really good down the right-hand side today, and down the left-hand side, not so good. But I don't think Elanga had a great game. And I don't think Elanga really offered Luke Shaw the opportunity to overlap much. Whereas I think Delo and Sancho worked really well. Last season, we were really good off the left. Today, we've been really good off the right. Ten Hag wants us to be good off both. We need that balance. Man United have made all their changes at half-time because, yeah, you're a sub. Ahmad's on, Zidane, Chong, Laird. Yeah, we've got a whole new team coming out here. I think the good thing about Blind is that he sees the pass over the top coming and would start running for it first. Blind sits and reads well, says Cardboard. Been watching for a lot longer than being a member. United stand always a step ahead. Maguire needs stripping of the captaincy, says TJ. Thank you very much, TJ. Did we really spend £80 million on Harry, says Gabrielle. You said Man United was going to win by 7. Don't write the Aussies off, you prat. Love you, says Robinson. Hey, you've been good. Look, I can only predict. I'm completely blind. I don't know how good Australian football is. I don't think it was that good. I just think you were well organised and played to your strengths. But you gave us a test, and I'm happy with that. I hope you can do it in the second half. So do you think that Ten Hag actually will play Maguire and go against the principle of having two quick centre-backs? Surely our best pairing would be VAR, says Matteo. Rashford as captain. Mute MUTV live and Goldbridge commentary equals top-notch, says Pushan. It's the way. It is the way. Okay, second half's about to kick off here. Rashford's playing up front. He's the captain of the club today. Ahmad, I think, is off the right. So Chong will be off the left. Donny, number 10. I think it's Iqbal and Savage again as a midfield two. And then you've got Laird right back, Malacia left back, Bay and Tellez again. I don't know who the goalkeeper is. Rashford's the only logical choice as captain in that team. I mean, you're not going to give it Donny and you're not going to give it Eric Bay. We are 28 seconds in, mate. Bavash says you do a good job at MUTV. Oh, mate, I've got Droughty in my ear. That's fine. Imagine MUTV in my ear if I was commentating on that. Yeah, Mark, you've forgotten your... Well, actually, you meant to do it 10 times a minute, but you've not praised Maguire yet. Yeah, I'm not going to either. Shut up. That's going out my ear. But no, on serious, look, I like to have a bit of banter when I'm talking about football. I do actually feel a little, and I know I'm not going to be popular for this. I do feel a little bit, Rashford's not up front, actually. It's Ahmad up front. So Rashford's playing off the left. So that logic that Rashford was being kept back to play off the left. I don't know. He's playing off. To play up front. He's playing off the left. I do think Maguire's getting a little bit too much stick. He's definitely at fault for the goal, but so was Lindelof. There's two players in that. So, let's see how we do second half, though. I don't think Donny played that well in the second half against Liverpool. Let's see if he can make an impact in this half. Oh, they nearly scored again there, Melbourne, on the attack, down the left-hand side. Cross came in. How many changes have Melbourne made? Hi, Mark. Please do our, what's with Garner and Mengi. Thanks, have nice ones, says Marius. I don't know that Mengi's even on the tour. Garner's injured. Mark, in my opinion, we're still a good 5 quality players away from catching up with the other 5 clubs. Let's be honest, this wasn't a great half. Imagine it was Premier League's as Red Devil. If you want my honest opinion on United's problem, they can play as many preseason games as they like. They can play 30 preseason games and they can win them all. I will still say that team ain't good enough. And I said it at the end of last season. I said it all through the season. Many of you did as well. I don't care who the manager is. I know more about Pep than I do about Ten Hag. I think Ten Hag is going to be a decent manager for us. But I'm telling you now, if Pep Guardiola was in charge, he wouldn't get a tune out of those players. So no disrespect to Eric, but he would have to be the world's best coach to get these players winning a league. It's just not going to happen. And United know it's not going to happen. And Eric Ten Hag knows it's not going to happen. He knows he needs signings. I know we need signings. You know we need signings. Until we get the signings in, it's very hard to make any prediction on what we're going to do next season. And the sad thing is, in 3 weeks today, the Premier League starts on Friday night, 3 weeks today. Arsenal play. We play on the Sunday. In under 3 weeks, we're going to be talking on the shows about our predictions for the season, where we're going to finish. Are we going to win the Europa League? And right here, right now, I feel I'm doing it blind because until I know who we've bought, I can't predict. And until I start to see who we've bought, I can't predict. And we don't know what's happening with Ronaldo. We can keep picking this team that we picked in the first half, and it can play well, and it can be disappointing, and it can make mistakes, and it can score good goals. But it's still the same players from last year who most of us don't trust to be consistent. So I think signings is the word. Until we get the signings in, I don't think we can really predict what's going to happen. United playing well here without Ronaldo, says Dermot. Talking about slow players, we had Mata as well, who was quite slow, but damn creative in the midfield. Maguire is just poor since past couple of seasons, says Aaron. Why isn't Garnacho getting any game time? Also, Maguire will get found out once season starts, says Stuart. Well, Stuart makes a great point. I'm quite relaxed about what Eric Ten Hag does because I think he knows what he's doing. And if he sees the mistakes that we've seen over the last year from some of these players, I think he will bench them. So I agree with Red Devil. I think we are 5 quality players away. We're half a team away from rebuilding. You've got to get a new centre-back, 2 midfielders, and you've got to solve the Ronaldo situation. You've got to get another winger. Because whether it's Rashford and Sancho, I don't think we've really got anybody ready after that. And you can't play Rashford and Sancho every game. Stu says you're contradicting yourself. Stu, give me more. Where did I contradict myself? I don't know what you're talking about. Stu, I spend like 2 hours talking non-stop. I'm sure I probably contradict myself every now and again. So tell me where I've contradicted myself because I don't know what you're talking about. De Jong is definitely coming, says Dan. The situation with De Jong is that he won't be on the tour. He won't be on the tour. I think we'll sign him. I'm still very confident that we'll sign him, but he won't be on the tour because Martinez is coming in to do his medical today. Eriksen's doing his medical at some point. It's the secret medical, but he will do it. And they should be on the plane by Monday. Frankie de Jong's nowhere near doing a medical. So he won't be on the tour, which means we're going to have very little time to get him integrated into that team in the most important area. Manchester United have paid £80 million for the slowest centre-back in the world, Harry Maguire, says Jack Clancy. Ollie Ball says, Eshen, do you think he plays Tellez at centre-back because he resembles Martinez play? Says Mark. I think he plays Tellez at centre-back because he can't play him at left-back because we've got Malacia and he's a senior player. And he's probably trying to put him in the shop window a little bit as well. Thanks everyone who's tuning in, by the way. I do think it's interesting that Chong's playing as well. We've not really seen Chong at all. Ahmad through the middle again. Apparently we've had a tweet from James Ducker. I'm just going to have a quick look at it while we're live. To say. Manchester United prepared to play the long game on De Jong, even if not joined by the time the Premier League starts. Martinez won't join United squad for end of tour. Oh my God. Fucking joke. Oh, dear me. That is a joke. And that's from James Ducker, who's good. That is madness. We're severely hindering our manager. That's appalling. Absolutely appalling. Why is Martinez not going on the tour? So that's from James Ducker. I mean, hopefully he's wrong, but basically he's saying that United are willing to play the long game, even if it means that De Jong won't be ready for the first game of the season. So we're willing to jeopardize 3 points, basically. And Martinez isn't going to go on the tour. So maybe it's a visa issue, to be fair. Could be a visa issue, but it's visa issue or whatever. It still comes down to the fact that we've taken too long on our deals. We should have had Martinez done a couple of weeks ago, and then we wouldn't have visa issues. Merton Madness is just, it's just very, you know what? It's just very depressing because I've watched that team play in the first half, and there was improvement, but they're not good enough. Like, some of those players are just not good enough. The whole point of progress is we need to sign players, and it starts to get to a point where the preseason starts to become redundant because you're picking players that aren't good enough. The whole point of the rebuild is to get the players in that are good enough, isn't it? If I'm preparing to eat the world's best ever English cooked breakfast, and I'm using, but I'm not putting any sausages on, and I'm not putting any bacon on, and I'm not putting any beans on, like, I'm sorry, I'm not preparing, am I? Because I'm not using the ingredients that make the best English breakfast ever. And we're not preparing by using McFred in the midfield. We're not. And if we are, we're in bloody big trouble. We need better than that. And I mean, this tour is fast becoming about fitness and nothing else, because the players that we need are not here. Here's Chong down the right-hand side. Nice ball into Laird. Cross is a bit deep, but it still finds its way to Malacia. Now into Zidane Iqbal. Good play. Loses the ball. Alexander, thank you very much for becoming a member. Yeah, the deal is done for Martinez, but for some reason he's not going to be on the tour. So there we go. And there's a lot of players on this tour that really you question whether they're going to be part of the future anyway. And I'm not just talking about first team players. You look at Ahmad, surely he goes on loan. Ganacho, Mabry, not even had a look in yet. Laird, will he be part of this season? Chong, Tellez, Wan-Bissaka. I mean, where's Wan-Bissaka, by the way? Is he injured? Does anyone know where Wan-Bissaka is? Are we delaying signings to save wages, says Legendary. I've been watching Ixbel and he's constantly scanning and asking for the ball. I know he's not ready for the future, but the future is bright. So he says, I know he's not ready, but the future is bright. You never know. You never know, mate. Mark, you forgot to unblock me on Twitter if you still want to. Oh, let me try and do that now. James, thank you very much. Missed the first half, Mark. Can you give me a 10-second rundown? We dominated possession. We created a few chances, but not as many as I would like. And we conceded because Maguire and Lindelof are too slow for a high line. Two of those players we are signing played under Erik ten Hag, so your point doesn't make sense, says Jamie Thorpe. Your point doesn't make sense, Jamie. I don't know what you're talking about. 1-1. I don't know what you're talking about. So you maybe, instead of typing out whatever you think you're talking about, you might want to explain what your point is. Those two players you're talking about played under Erik ten Hag, so it doesn't make any sense. So let me try and work in your weird world. So I've just spoken about De Jong, and it's like solving a puzzle here. So Wan-Bissaka is shopping at Tesco, says Jack. So I spoke about De Jong and Lisandro Martinez. Apparently De Jong, United don't care if he doesn't sign by the start of the season because they're playing the long game. And Lisandro Martinez won't be coming on the tour. So they both played for Ten Hag. So what I said doesn't make sense. So I presume you're trying to say that it doesn't matter if De Jong or Martinez don't sign up for United for ages because they played for Ten Hag before. Yeah, that is really a stupid comment, mate. Yeah. I don't know what your point is there. So you're saying because De Jong played for Ten Hag 3 years ago, he's going to be able to come into this United team and just understand it from day one. Yeah, you've never played football at a decent level, have you? Are all our players actually incapable of first-time passes, says Dice? I think it's trained into them. It's the Ten Hag. It's not the Ten Hag way. It's the United way. These players are indoctrinated in a style of football, which is take your time, put your foot on the ball. And I've unblocked you, James. I think that's the problem. I think it's going to take time to get these players going. Jamie did clarify, to be fair. He says your point on pre-season in the system. Jamie, you can't say that it doesn't matter if we don't get De Jong until after the first game of the season because he's played for United. He's played for Ten Hag before. By your very logic, it's flawed because he doesn't play for the first game of the season, which makes us weaker. And just because he's played for Ten Hag before, that was with different players at a different club. Maybe Ten Hag is going to tweak his system a little bit at United, and therefore it's different for De Jong and it's different for Lisandro Martinez. I don't think they're going to be able to just drop into the team straight away and be perfect. Maybe we might get lucky, but pre-season and preparation is really important. And even if that did happen, Jamie, we'd still be very lucky. It's by luck, not design, because the reason that Ten Hag hasn't got these players is not because he's saying, don't worry about it, they'll just fall straight into the team, buy them in a month. It's because the club hasn't bought the players in that he wanted at the time he wanted them in. Ten Hag wanted these signings on tour. Talk about the game, Mark. Well, we've had 15 minutes and it's a bit drab. It's a typical second 11 against the second 11. Although I don't think anybody's clarified yet, is this Melbourne victory second 11 or have they kept most of the players on from the second half? It's been quite an equal game so far. I'd like to see us create a little bit more. Not that it doesn't matter, but it's not a massive deal and won't cost us 3 points first game of the season. Love the show as ever, says Jamie. But it might cost us 3 points in the first game of the season, Jamie, if we're not prepared. And it might cost us 3 points against Liverpool if we're not prepared in the third game of the season. What's that saying? Piss poor planning leads to bad performance or something like that. Like the planning and preparation of this pre-season and this season is not good. Comparable to Spurs, who've got 5 players in and have left the players that they don't want at home. Conte's working with his team for the first game of the season, and it's 3 weeks away. Eric Ten Hag is not working with his first team and hasn't even got his signings in yet, and we're 3 weeks away. Our preparation is not as good as our rivals, and that needs to be spoken about. I know it's pre-season. I know Bay's injury record, but from what I've seen, we shouldn't be selling Bay, says G. Mate, I think we should sell Bay simply for a different reason. He will never get the opportunity that he deserves, and he's too good to be fourth choice centre-back again. I mean, already you can tell that he's on the shopping list, because why would you not have started him with Maguire or Lindelof in the first half? Because he's not part of the plans, is he? Mark, how has Bailey not got into this United team? He's clear of every single one of our defenders, barring Varane. I don't disagree, Long. This is why I think he needs to leave. Mark, you don't seem very excited about the prospect of Iqbal. Really talented player with a good future, says the Big P. And I don't blame the club on the Frankie de Jong thing. Eric Ten Hag is clearly obsessed with him, says Mario Franco. I am excited about Iqbal, but I'm also realistic that he probably isn't going to play much this season. And I'm more focused on, we have got to play some Premier League games very, very soon. And I'm concerned about that. I don't know what to think about Iqbal, really, because I don't know what the plan's going to be and whether we're going to loan him, whether we're going to keep him. There's a lot of people getting very excited about him. I think that's a dangerous thing to do, really. I've always said that with young players, I don't like it when they get overhyped, because it just puts added pressure onto them. And I saw it last year with Elanga firsthand. Some people overhyped him, and then he had a bad couple of games, and then suddenly he's shit. And actually, I just think with young players, it's about patience and giving them time to nurture. I think Charlie Savage has done a reasonably good job as well in that midfield. I mean, they're two very young lads, and they're looking to express themselves. But what I do like about Iqbal is his ability to carry the ball, his ability to pass the ball. He's got the lot, and he's a very exciting player. But I don't know where he figures in Eric Ten Hag's plans. And I'm certainly not going to start demanding that he's got to start games next season. He's got to be in the first team. He's got to be on the bench. But he's a very exciting player. And I think we've got to, as I say, nurture him in a responsible way so that we can, achieve that aim which you're always trying to achieve, which is to bring a youth player from the youth and have them as a full-time player. Prior preparation prevents piss poor performance, says Mark Jones. Thank you very much. And proper prior planning prevents piss poor performance, says Steve. Thank you. Getting a lot of clicks, Draughty. Did anybody let us know about Melbourne, actually, and whether they have made any changes? Because I know this player running through on goal at the moment is still the same. Still 2-1 after 20 minutes of this second half. Pratosaurus Rex says, Solskjaer, Ranić and now Ten Hag. There must be a reason why Bay is not getting picked. Can all of them be wrong about him? I think my understanding with Eric Bailly is not really a negative against Melbourne Victory. Haven't made any changes yet. Thank you very much in the chat. There you go. So that's even better from our lot, because they're giving it a bit of a go against the team that, gave it a go against our team. My understanding with Eric Bailly is similar to Aaron Wan-Bissaka, that they were on the shopping list before Eric Ten Hag even took a training session. So I believe what happened is Eric Ten Hag came over to Manchester after the Ajax title win in mid-May, sat down with like Murta and Fletcher and a few other people, and a list of players was agreed that were for sale. And I think on that list, you had people like Wan-Bissaka, Andreas Pereira, Brandon Williams, and I think Eric Bailly was on that list. So unless Eric Ten Hag changes his mind, I believe that Eric Bailly was put on that list on advice of the club and an agreement with him right at the start of the summer. So Eric Bailly's career at United's been messed up by Solskjaer, basically. He shouldn't have... Eric, here we go. Donny into Chong. No, corner. I've said it before. I thought Eric Bailly was man of the match against Liverpool. But I just don't think he's going to get the chances he deserved. He should have started today. He should have started with the first team in the first half. Based on his performance against Liverpool, he should have started. He's quick. And we wouldn't have conceded that goal if he'd played, because if he was Lindelof, he'd have stopped that guy. And if he was Maguire, he would have stopped that guy because of his pace. I don't think he's in the plans for United, and therefore he's too good to be third or fourth choice centre back. And actually, he'd be fourth choice centre back, wouldn't he? Corner comes in, catch by the keeper for Melbourne. Oz teams can't afford big squads. Focus will be on developing first team in a game like this, which is a big opportunity for them, says Brian. There you go. Good point. Good point. Well made. They won't have a massive squad to change their team. Hexic says, failed to prepare, prepared to fail. Classic United. Love the show. Thank you very much, mate. Please do subscribe, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner. We're really close to 386,000. We're only about 100 away now. So bottom right-hand corner to subscribe. We are live at 8 o'clock every night. Hoping to see some escalation of activity around United over this weekend. Martinez should be confirmed, but apparently will not be going on the tour. Shame. That means it's another week of not training with your teammates for Martinez, which means it's another week of watching Maguire and Lindelof at centre-back. We're not going to have a midfielder going on the tour, so it's going to be another week of McTominay and Fred. And I don't know whether that means Eric's. It's Donny! Oh, side netting. Got excited there. United still struggling to break a low block. I get it's pre-season, but shouldn't we be working on movements and aggressiveness off the ball, says Damien. On Iqbal and Savage, I genuinely think there's an argument they've looked better than McFred. Savage never gives the ball away, and Iqbal's so creative, says G. And Iqbal is a special player, Championship or Premier League lower side, loan, says J. Yeah, I agree. I think the fact that this is the same Melbourne side from the first half is really impressive. And I do agree that Iqbal and Savage have been better than McFred. Dan. The Ducker article is actually quite encouraging. The club hope to resolve the wages ASAP, and they've helped with an increase in guaranteed fee. Remember, Barca need him to go to sign players, says Dan. Jay, thank you for your comments about Iqbal as well. Thanks everyone who's tuned in, by the way. 37,000 on a Friday. Well, it's Friday lunchtime now. I do like pre-season. It's very weird watching Man United play at 11 o'clock on a Friday. It'll be even weirder when we're watching. I'll tell you what, though. This is a weird game, and I welcome the levels that Melbourne have put in. I can only applaud them. They've really put in a shift, and it's made it a harder game for us than I expected. I also think that Crystal Palace are playing Liverpool tonight, then they're playing us. So the next two games are going to be really good because we're playing Premier League opposition, and they're working to the same Premier League start date as we are. So there's no advantage for Palace to go, well, we won't try against United or Villa next Saturday. So I think we've got some good, interesting games to come, and I'm looking forward to it. I just wish we had some more signings. Australian teams have a salary cap, so for victory, this is the best team they've got, to be honest. Great to see some exposure here in Australia, says Reverse Clouds. Afternoon, Mark, and the United Stand community, says Matthew Paul. Mark, who is your early prediction for United's top goal scorer and assist leader this season, says Matthew. It's like putting a needle in a haystack. I mean, I'd almost forget that Rashford's playing this game. And again, it's not because I think he's playing badly. It's a bit like Alanga in the first half, just not involved in it. Sick Bell's better than McFred, says Just Kevin. I suppose I'd probably go Bruno. 19-year-old Iqbal and Savage teaching McTominay lessons. I would rather have Iqbal, Savage and Garner on the bench than McTominay, says Shove Chong has got no future at this club. 20 minutes in and obviously a back passes from him. If you're afraid of Melbourne victory, then United ain't for you. You know, I used to think highly of Chong. Obviously, I don't think he's going to make it at United now, but 2 or 3 years ago, I really was very excited about him. And I do wonder, he had a knee injury that kept him out for about a year a few years ago. And I do wonder, I say this all the time about young players as well. You can never say that a 17 or 18-year-old from the youth is going to be a future superstar, because if they pick up an injury, you don't want to be picking up a long injury. And he did reasonably well, Chong, at Birmingham. And I think there's a deal for United to do there, maybe 5 million to somebody. But yeah, he's not going to be good enough. You know, check my tweet out on Twitter. I'm not joking. Carl, thank you very much for becoming a member. I'm genuinely not joking. This is the same Melbourne victory side from the first half, and it shouldn't go unnoticed that Savage and Iqbal have done better than Fred and McTominay. Like, they have. And I know McTominay scored a goal, but they've done a really good job in that midfield. Again. And that doesn't mean that Iqbal and Savage are ready to play for United, by the way. I think that's a bit over the top. But what I'm saying is they're not far off McTominay and Fred, and that's not a lie, which shows you the quality of our midfield isn't as good as it needs to be. Rashford, good block. Now, I've got to be careful of the break here, but it's a different thing when they try and break now because they're not up against Maguire and Lindelof. Who's the best Aussie player ever, says Matt. He's going for Tim Cahill. Viduka was a good player. Who else did they have? Harry Kewell. Yeah, I'm probably missing somebody completely. You know who could have played for Australia? I might be completely wrong here. And he was a good striker as well. I think Christian Vieri could have played for Australia. Remember the Italian striker? I think he had Australian in him. Not sure if you've spoken about this, but seeing this Bernardo Silva news breaking to Barca makes me confident about De Jong. Glad I backed you, mate, says Jay. Oh, is he? I've not heard that. Carl, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much for joining. We've done that one. James says he's deleted his message. So it must have been a horrible message. Take Savage and Zidane over McFred, says Andy Cheetham. Why are we ruling out Phil Jones? Jimmy says. Rangnick picked him over Bay, our last player from the Fergie area. Good winning mentality. I don't know whether you're joking, mate, or not. Time check. It's on the screen. It's right next to my arm. 72 minutes, 73 minutes. It's flown by, hasn't it? We will do player ratings, by the way. I'll give you the link for that in a bit. Top. Well, I've just had a message from Severn Trent Water saying, don't hose your garden. We're looking at a hot weekend. Droughts. Mark Bosness was Australian and still is Australian. I don't know what's happened with Garner. It's a shame. It's a real shame for James Garner, actually, because if he's not fit for that Palace game, what decision can you make? Like, I imagine what Garner would have done. I mean, there's no guarantee, but imagine what Garner would have done. Like, look how well Iqbal's played and Savage has played, and Garner's more ready than those two. Chris Woods, New Zealand. Was there ever anything in the Maguire swap deal? Where did it even come from? No. Don't know what that was all about, Marcus. Melbourne are on the attack here. They've got a 2v2. Nice little ball. Eric Bailly's there, though. He won't get past Eric Bailly. And we've got numbers back now. Craig says, I don't know why Garnacho's not been given a chance. I said it a few minutes ago. Why is Wan-Bissaka not playing? Is he injured as well? We're playing Ethan Laird over Wan-Bissaka. Is that just a complete and utter... It was an Eric Bailly mistake that led to that, by the way. Thoughts on the A-League, Mark? Should there be more than 12 teams for it to grow? Says Daniel. I don't know how the A-League works, Daniel. We don't have terrible football here in Oz. It's just the fact that we have a salary cap and stupid youth system where only the rich kids get into the academies. Advise watching HITC 7's video essay on it, says B. Thank you very much. Thoughts on United's Premier League fixtures, especially in the early going, looks tough, says Reverse Clouds. Well, Aman's singing a song about we've got Ten Hag. We've got Liverpool at Old Trafford on the third game of the season. That could be a good thing. It could be a bad thing. Sometimes you can catch teams cold when they're not in their rhythm. I mean, to be honest with you, no Premier League team is up to speed in the third game of the season, so we might catch them out. Is Rashford cut out for Man United? His football history. I'm not going to be critical of Rashford because Donny's done the same again. Like, Donny's not been in the game again. It's just not in the game. They're not in the game. It's really difficult to assess these players when they're not really getting in. James Ducker says that Martinez is not expected to join Man United's pre-season tour in Australia because there will be little value in him travelling to the other side of the world for what would be the final days of the trip, which was always the concern. I said this at the start of the week, didn't I? If he's not on the if he's not on the plane by Saturday, it does start to make it a bit of a wasted exercise. But again, that just comes down to how long we've taken to do the deal. There's clearly not been any urgency. Darry says, what does Darry say? Darry says, I'm confused. There is articles saying that Frankie de Jong has told teammates he's not leaving and under no circumstances will he come to United. United told to stop wasting their time by the agent. Yeah, but that's from Sport, Darry. I don't believe it. Why come no Garnacho and Hannibal as of now? Mark says Lee. And a goal! It's a goal for Manchester United, and it's Marcus Rashford who scores it as well. And I wasn't even looking. If I was a time traveller from May 2023 and told you that Man United won the Premier League, how you react, says Mango, I'd be stunned. And although the possession stats are encouraging, the lack of cutting edge up front without Ronaldo is a cause for concern in my book, says Vinny. Well, let's watch this back. It's Eric Bailly again from the back. Slips it into Rashford. Bailly again. Good finish. Good finish. And it's Bailly again. Well, give him a shout out. Eric Bailly driving forward from the back. Lovely ball into Rashford. That's where Rashford can score a goal, when you slip it into him and use his pace. My only concerns of selling Eric over Jones and Axel is he could actually be a rotation player for us, unlike the other two, says Gaz. Well, he's had a big part to play in that goal, Eric Bailly. Again, driving forward, slips it into Rashford, and Rashford finished it well, sprinting. Look, people can moan about Rashford's limitations, and he's definitely got limitations. But if you knock the ball into space and he's running through on goal, you know, he should score, and he's good at scoring in them situations, and he's fast. It's about how often you can create that scenario. If you just want speed and a finish, Rashford's good at that. It's when it gets intricate that it becomes problematic for him, and that's the area of his game he's got to work on. But it was a good finish, and it was a very good drive forward by Eric Bailly. And he will be getting the praise in the chat again, I'm sure. Watching Young United is much more exciting than watching the first team, says Diraj. Everyone laughs about Varane being captain, but he's a serial winner and miles better than Maguire as a leader, says Mark. And I know he's not been involved much, but Rashford's decision-making when he's on the ball looks a lot better. Not overthinking and playing simple, says Dice. Yeah, I agree. And I think we've seen that from Bruno in the first half as well. I think Rashford and Bruno are the two biggest sinners of... oh, here we go. Should have scored. Should have been 2-2. They're the biggest sinners of Hollywood passes and shots. And those two players are definitely two players that will need to simplify their game. Maguire needs to be sold, says Karan. And Rod says, hi, Mark. Greetings from Mexico. Do you honestly think Ronaldo will stay, or do you think he'll probably leave and join Bayern? I don't like to talk about feelings about Ronaldo, because 3 weeks before it came out about him leaving, I said, I've just got this horrible feeling he's going to leave. And everyone was like, you're talking out your arse. And then it happened. I do have a feeling that he's going to go to Bayern Munich. And I want to be wrong, but I have a feeling he's going to go to Bayern Munich. Yeah, Donny's been very quiet again. Just can't get involved. And it's all right saying, well, he needs to play in the first team because it's better players. But, Bay's done it 2 games in a row. He's played well. Rashford's managed to score a goal. Iqbal's expressed himself. I still think you should be expecting a little bit more. Rashford new contract incoming, says Julian. I've just seen someone in a United tracksuit running on with a pen and paper, actually. Well, thoughts on Zidane Iqbal, Mark? That guy's a baller. I'm interested in Iqbal. I'm not going to overhype him because I think that's not helpful for any young player. But I'm interested to see what we're going to do with him because he's definitely talented. I suppose the logical step is to get him a good loan. He definitely needs to be playing first-team football of some sort next season. There's no point in him just training with the first team. So I'd like to see him going on loan, but you never know. He's just won the ball back here. Good cross. Oh, good header from Rashford that time. Donny's been very quiet, Ulrich. Yeah. 82 minutes. Rashford should be doing better with his head there. He's just not that good in the air, is he? Good cross, though. Ollie ruined Donny. It's as simple as that, says Neil. It is pre-season as well. I think this is a really great point. I've seen in pre-season Pirlo, Pereira. I've seen Lingard brilliant in pre-season, and the season kicks off and they're crap. I've seen Rooney in pre-season in years gone by be a bit average in pre-season, and then the season kicks off and he's amazing. Different players have different, paths to fitness, and it is pre-season. So but I suppose the other counter argument to that is that it's an opportunity to impress. Mark, if Rashford is not good at the technical side of attacking, shouldn't we use him down the middle as a poacher, working off creative wingers, says John T. The problem with putting Marcus Rashford down the wing is that, down the middle, is that he can't hold the ball up and his link-up play is not very good. So you would create a scenario where you've got a striker that is very limited and is only really going to be good at the ball over the top. So, yeah, that would be the issue there. His link-up play is not that good. I mean, maybe you could work on that. But, yeah, I think Rashford's good at what he did. That ball over the top, sprint, no one's going to catch him, finish it, lovely, absolutely great. Crosses into the box, not that great. Ball into the feet with his back to goal, not that great. Those are the areas that I'd have concerns about because Martial's very good at that. Ronaldo's very good at that. Rashford would need to work on that. But all in all, a good workout for United. I wouldn't say there's been any panic moments. It's certainly minutes in the legs. It's certainly a little bit more smile on the face for some of these players. And overall, I still think the issue is this team ain't going to be the team. Surely it's not going to be the team that he ends up using because it's got so many holes in it. It still massively needs the centre-back, which hopefully we've signed. It still massively needs the midfield signing, which we haven't done yet. So as much as it's enjoyable, it's also concerning that we still haven't got these players in that we need to sign. I see Van der Beek making a lot of silly runs and hiding, says Martin. I'll be honest, I like Donny, but he hasn't played well again. The truth is, none of our youngsters would benefit from staying until we have enough senior leaders in the first team to help them bed in, says Chris. I think that's a great point. I'm watching Donny intensely. He's actually getting in great positions. Earlier, Rashford had a wild shot and ignored him as a through ball, says Nick. You know what? Donny reminds me a bit of Mkhitaryan. I always found that with Mkhitaryan. You wanted him to do well, and he made a lot of good runs and that, but they sort of ignored him, and it almost became a conspiracy. They don't like Mkhitaryan. They just won't pass the ball to him, and you almost feel that you so want Donny to do well that you almost start doing that yourself as well. Nani's in, is he? I think Nani could have played on to a heart, could have stayed on in Europe a little bit longer. Oh, could have been a goal. Could have been a goal. Ahmad comes back to Iqbal. Now Chong. You can vote for your player ratings, by the way. I've dropped the link in the video description. You can do that. We will be going through the player ratings on the match reaction. Shot by Rashford again. Both our fullbacks are playing it safe, says Anmar, which makes our front line look very bad. The importance of the fullbacks is really underrated in our club. Yeah, Nani's coming on. I think he will try and buy a right back. I really do. Nobody's answered me. Was Wan-Bissaka on the bench? Bradley. If you know, you know. Nani was amazing. I really did like Nani, yeah. Wan-Bissaka was on the bench, so he's just not being used. I mean, he's just, as I said, keep an eye out on Wan-Bissaka. That's my next sort of early scoop transfer. Let's see if it comes off. I think we might be selling Wan-Bissaka. I know loan's probably more logical, but I reckon we've got a buyer for Wan-Bissaka. So let's wait and see what happens with that. But it shows Wan-Bissaka's not part of the plans, because why would you play Ethan Laird and not play Wan-Bissaka for even half an hour? Opinions on Bailly, says Jinx. I like Eric Bailly. I've always liked Eric Bailly. For the last 3 years, I've been saying it should be Bailly and Lindelof or Bailly and Maguire. He never got picked, and I think the club have just decided they want to move him on. I think we've treated Eric Bailly really badly. I think he's better than the games he gets, and I think the contract we gave him was disgusting because he had a year to go. He would have been a free transfer this summer. We gave him a contract, and we obviously lied. Martinez and Bailly in that back line now. That's something to think about right there. Mark, stick it on a poll over Harry and Victor, says Gaz. I won't do a poll, Gaz, because it'll win, but it won't happen because I think Eric Bailly is on the transfer list. I think Eric Ten Hag is using Donny as a Bruno replacement till Eric's is signed. We don't have anyone else right now, says Suryash. It's not really working, is it? Here's Ahmad to Chong. Good play by Chong. Cross comes in. OG! Chong with the cross. 4-1. And we've beat them in the second half more than we beat them in the first half because we haven't conceded. Good run by Chong. Did well. 4-1. I was getting a bit of stick in the chat. Ultimately, I don't think Chong's going to be good enough, but it's a good cross. It's a good run. Direct. Nice ball by Ahmad. Got a bit of space. Runs at his player. Whips in a cross. OG. And even then, Donny must be pissed off because he would have had a tap in. Nani is on the pitch, yes. Please do subscribe to the channel, bottom right-hand corner. More importantly, remember, we've been sponsored by Wash and Go again today. You can get yours delivered to the door. I use it every day in the shower. You can get yours delivered to the door. Links in the video description. Big shout out to Wash and Go. Shampoo and conditioner all in one. And also, you can do your player ratings in the link in the video description as well. Mark every player out of 10, 6 being the average. We'll go through all of that on the match reaction too. So thanks everyone for tuning in. Really appreciate that. We'll be going straight on to our match reaction straight after this.
Saying good around the UK.
Oh God, what's that? Bloody TikTok. We're a minute in to added time. Have we got the stats on the screen, Draughty? Okay. No, it's probably gonna blow. What was possession over 70%? Yeah, okay. Dear Mark, do you wash and go before or after your manscapes? Says Chris. I'm not giving you that information for $5. People would pay hundreds to know that. It's fantasy talk. Second minute of extra added time here, and United 4-1 up. OG, Rashford. I mean, McTominay's, was that an OG, really? That wasn't going in. I bet he claimed it. Martial and Rashford goals, the best 2 goals of the game. 2 OGs as far as I'm concerned. But interested to know who your man of the match is. McTominay, 1.6 rating from the chat incoming, says Robert. I don't think McTominay will get a bad rating. I'd give McTominay a 6, probably a 6.5. I don't think he was particularly bad today because he actually played more advanced. He had 3 shots. So he's just not. They're just not good enough. McFred are just not good enough for where we need to go. We need to get some players in. That's what we need. It's so good to see United live here in Melbourne, and the noise is insane, says Red Smith. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you're out there, fantastic. Good to see. I don't know why I'm apologising. It's got nothing to do with me. I wish we could have took some new signings and Ronaldo out there, but that's the one thing United are failing at the moment is in their preparation for this new season. We're just not particularly well prepared. Could have been 5 there. Lovely ball by Charlie Savage. Got it wide to Ahmad, who put a cross in, and Rashford could have been looking at his second goal there. Marky or Goldie, says Jack. Sometimes, cheers, Jack. And that's the final whistle. It's Manchester United 4, Melbourne victory 1. Sit down, haters. Don't get that Premier League trophy. Get them blue ribbons off it and start getting the reds on. Because I tell you what, this team's heading all the way for the league. I'm joking. Good performance from Manchester United. I think Iqbal is better than McFred. I think it's time to put him in the squad. He looks like he's ready for the step up. I'm very impressed, says Sean. I don't know. I leave those sort of decisions to Eric Ten Hag. Personally, probably not ready for many reasons. One big reason being that it's unfair to put that level of hype and pressure onto a young player. I think somebody made a great comment about if you're going to play a young player, you need senior players that can nurture them. Have we got enough senior players to nurture a young player at the moment? There's a lot of instability in that team. But look, he could be a man of the match candidate. Get your player ratings in. I'm going to be straight over onto the match reaction. I'll see you there in about a minute's time. We'll go live. We'll talk about it. We'll do the player ratings. I'll see you over there in a